Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Davey Deathray here. I hope you guys are having a lovely weekend so far. It is February 28th, 2026. Out here in the desert, it's just after 2 p.m., about a quarter after, and guys, it's way too hot already out here. It is about 90 degrees in the Phoenix area, and that is, to me, unacceptable for February. So, it's just a personal thing. I'd like to file my complaint, but I hope you guys are having a great weekend. We're going to talk, man, I guess I'm going to say this before we really get going. If you haven't seen Scream 7, it's possible that during this discussion, there may be something said in the chat, or maybe I will say something that could be considered a spoiler. So I just want to let folks know that if you haven't seen the movie, this isn't, the other night we did our, all of our spoiler talk on Thursday night. So it's not going to be quite like that. But it could pop up. So I just wanted to, put a fair warning out there for, everyone that's hanging out in the chat. Thank you guys so much. It's been a while since I've done one of these that's like in the daytime for me out here. And, I've been telling the folks out across the pond in the UK that I owe them a stream. And I think it's better to do it on a weekend, even if it was kind of last minute. But yeah, so this is for you guys. This one's for the UK. How about it? So let me know where you're watching from, all that kind of good stuff. Let me know your thoughts on Scream 7, but really as it pertains to, now, of course, I'm not going to sit here and completely control the chat, but the idea of today's stream, just to make sure that we're not doing, I think there's going to be, leading up to Scream 7, there were a lot of samey streams, right? Where, and I did them as well, where it was like kind of talking predictions, all that kind of stuff. Nothing wrong with that. But I know we're going to see that too in the aftermath of Scream 7. Just a lot of streams with people like, kind of digging it up and talking about it again, right? So this is more of a stream that's kind of like, we're going to discuss Scream 7, but really I'm kind of curious as to like where you guys want the franchise to go from here, essentially. Like, do you guys want to see, I put a poll out there in the chat, just so you know. That's just kind of like silly and fun. Those are just like ideas that popped into my head just as a fun little thing to put out there. But really just kind of like, if you enjoyed Scream 7, what are the things you enjoyed that you'd like to see carried over into the next chapter? If you didn't like Scream 7, what are some things that you want them to address moving forward? And guys, it does seem like we are getting, or we will get, an official green light for Scream 8. I know everyone's already out there talking like it's official, and I'm pretty sure it's a foregone conclusion at this point, but it's not technically official. And since I'm, have this platform or whatever you want to call it, I just want to make sure that at least I'm using the proper language there. But man, we're on track for a $60 million opening weekend for Scream 7, which is huge because Scream 6 had the biggest opening weekend in the franchise and it was like 44 million, something like that. So this would be massive. To tack on another 15 million plus in an opening weekend would be huge. I've already seen the movie twice. I know a lot of people that have, and I don't think it's just to throw extra support towards a movie. I think it's the nature of these movies, whodunit, revenge. Anytime there's like a mystery, it's always fun to watch it again. It doesn't just, it doesn't just pertain to Scream. Like after I watched Strange Darling, I watched it like the next day because I'm like, oh, now that I know how it all shakes out, I want to see it again, see what I missed, appreciate the, the filmmaking and the storytelling from a different perspective, right? And I think that is kind of the case with something like Scream. And I will say this really quick before I say what's up to everybody and we get going on the discussion. I enjoyed Scream 7 a lot more the second time around, and I enjoyed it quite a bit the first time around. Some certain things that didn't quite click for me, or that I didn't notice or didn't properly take in the first time, on my second viewing, I was like, oh shit, okay. Stuff like there's a lot of griping about the motives and stuff like that. And the second time I watched it, I was like, oh, this shit's clear as day. And hats off to the people that caught that the first time around. I didn't have a problem with the motive the first time around, but I thought it wasn't so clear. And then after the second time, I'm like, oh no, it's right there. So I think as we have more discussions about the movie, maybe some people that are on the fence or more a little on the negative side and not just hating just to hate, some of them might come over to a little bit more of an acceptability as far as like, enjoying the movie more than they did initially, kind of thing. So So yeah, we're going to talk Scream 8, which way we want to go and all that kind of fun stuff. I'm going to jump in and say what's up to you guys. And yeah, we'll get cruising. And I think, just to finish my thought, because I'm all caffeinated and everything like that, I don't think it's just going to be people revisiting just to revisit. I think people are going back to the theater because they, much like myself, I feel like I gained something. I gained so much from that second experience. Hold on, guys. I feel like I've got a little bit of a buzz here. I just want to see. Okay, I think my microphone's behaving a little bit better now. Cool. All right, let's see here. There we go. Okay, I'm going to say what's up to you guys, and then we'll get cruising. I do want to let you know, if you want another hour of Scream 8 talk, I have a super chat goal set up. So if we get 10 super chats of $2 or more, we'll keep on talking. And if not, no big deal. Super chats aren't required. They're just a little extra something fun we can do. And the only reason it's not to put anything behind a paywall or anything like that, guys. It's just that, this is something I do in my quote unquote free time. And if you guys want me here and want me active in the discussion, let's friggin' go. Let's do it. And if not, I can always work on something else for the channel. More, free content for you guys to consume or enjoy. Consume sounds bad, but I know the word consume has negative connotations, but we're going to use it in a positive way here. There's just something else I could be doing to benefit the community and the channel. So anyways, if you want me to stay in chat, you know what to do. We got Emo Nerd Girl jumping in, says, hey nerds. What's up, Emo Nerd Girl? I like that. I like emo, I like nerds, I like girls. So there, you got me. You got me with the trifecta there. Hope you're having a great weekend. If you're still kicking it with us, Emo Nerd Girl, because I know you were the first in the chat, let me know your thoughts on Scream 7. We got Gene Whitacombe hanging out. What's happening, Gene? So good to see you. It's been a while since I've seen you in a live chat, so I hope you're still kicking it with us, Gene. We got a brim full of Asha. What's happening, Asha? One of our great channel members. Hope you're doing well, bud. I'm so happy that you could jump in and hang out with us on this one. I know you've been wanting this one. I know Gina, aka my chunky Jordy, has been wanting one as well. And maybe there are some other people out there in the UK. Maybe there are that like this channel. It's funny, YouTube gives me my analytics, and I think the UK is like number 3 on my countries list. It's like, US, Canada, UK. Maybe Australia's in there above the UK. I don't know. Maybe. We got Lizzie hanging out with us. Lizzie with a Y. What's happening, Lizzie? One of our great channel members. Thank you so much for jumping on in. We got Tia Nina. What's happening, Tia? What did you think of Scream 7? I don't think you were in the stream the other night. Have you seen it yet? Thoughts? I'm very curious. Linda G, another one of our great channel members, jumps in and says, where do we go from here? But she's singing it. Oh, Buffy musical. And then when I sing it, Linda, there is a Megadeth song from Countdown to Extinction. Yeah, I'm not just a punk rock and horror guy, guys. I am, the good metal. I like the good metal. Megadeth is one of my favorites. But I always think of that, where do we go from here? Dun, 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 dun. And do we really care? Dun, dun, dun. The end is finally here. Dun, dun, dun. God have mercy. Dun, 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 dun. I always think of that. I think that song is called Ashes in Your Mouth, something like that, from Countdown to Extinction. That's immediately, I was singing it in my head when I built the thumbnail and everything like that. Oh, well, wait, I changed the thumbnail because I changed the thumbnail to what's next. I built one that said, where do we go from here? And I was like, I might want to save that for a pre-recorded video where I give my own thoughts on where we go from here. So I'm talking out of my ass completely. I love that the survey already has the Cult of Stu leading in votes. Well, and here's it is interesting. I'm curious to know what you guys have to say about this in the live chat. I didn't think there was any disrespect to the Stu fans here. I've seen that criticism out there, and I think it's of course, if everyone's perception is different, right? So if you perceive it that way, I can totally understand it. I didn't perceive it that way. You have multiple characters throughout the film that are kind of acknowledging that it's absurd, dumb, not very likely that he's still alive. It happens multiple times, but at the same time, they dangle that in front of you for almost the whole movie. Is he going to really be alive? They tell you, no, this is dumb and it ain't happening, blah, 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 but they're still dangling it. And I thought that kind of like worked for me. Honestly, I feel like the way that they dealt with Stu, other than I wish the AI effects overall were a little more gritty, a little dirtier, a little more realistic looking. They look very clean, and it looks very obvious that it's just the actors with a nice key light on them. There was nothing about it that like I wanted it to have a bit of a, you know, a little bit of glitching, a little bit of pixelation, just something to just not look so clean, you know. And of course I would have liked to have seen another Ghostface cameo or two. Like you know, Jill really would have made sense. Probably didn't have the money or the scheduling to get Jill or, you know, get Emma Roberts back and everything, but story-wise, like storyline-wise, it would have made a lot of sense to have that AI appearance there, right, by Jill. So, but I pretty much Cult of Stu is a thing without them really saying it. I mean, that's one of the reasons why Ethan Embry's character, I think he's motivated by a romantic relationship with Crazy Jessica. But you know, the way that he says, like, you know, Stu isn't alive, well, and he's like, he is, like, in a sense, or he is like in spirit, or whatever he says. So he does come from a little bit of a place of a, you know, clear, and they used Stu and the AI and all that. So they do come from like a Cult of Stu kind of place. And, you know, I know a lot of people didn't like the reveal and all that kind of stuff. But one of the things I said before the movie came out is I was like, I kind of want it to be someone that like is just, there's just like chaos, like somebody that's not really connected to the story, or somebody that thinks they're connected or feels like they have some sort of connection. And in a way, like I think we kind of got that. Like I sort of wanted somebody that, yeah, they're saying they're from Woodsboro, they're saying all this stuff, but I just kind of wanted like Agent of Chaos. I don't need it all to be like super connected. Because especially if this were a thing that were happening in real life, by 30 years removed from the first event, like you probably wouldn't have very many familial or friendship kind of connections or anything like that. Anyway, I'm going to keep on saying hi. I'm already talking too much. I can tell. I'm already way behind on the chat. Let's see. Here we go. What do we got? Who else is hanging out with us? You guys are very chatty. I love it. We got Super Tanner hanging out. What's happening? Aaron, great to see you. Yeah, man, I really liked it. I think like when I popped out after the first time, I was like 3.5 to 4 stars. I think I'm leaning closer to 4 after a second viewing. And it'll be very tough for it to crack into my top 3. It could somewhere down the line. But after only seeing it twice, I'm still firm on my top 3 of the franchise. But not making the top 3 is not a bad mark on this movie's record. And I mean, the franchise is pretty strong. At least I feel like my top 3 are pretty strong. So there you go. Let's see here. Are you a chugger? Are you guys talking about drinking? All right, who else do we got here jumping on in? We got Johnny Keene. What's happening, Johnny? I believe you're out there in the UK, right? Yes, so glad you could join us. I need to do these more, guys, I know. Because look at this, on the middle of a Saturday, we've got 22 people hanging out. Thank you all so much. Guys, if you're watching either now or after the fact, please make sure you hit that like button. It really does help the channel, and it's free. And if you're not subscribed, think about hitting the subscribe button, hitting the notification bell. That way, if I do drop a live stream just kind of out of nowhere, you guys don't miss that, and you're able to join in the conversation, because I love, you know, chit-chatting with all you guys about everything. So yeah, and if you're watching after the fact and you dig this kind of content, think about hitting the hype button. That's free as well, and it really does help the channel. Guys, the channel growing so much, it's like half of it's kind of on me for keeping everything up on my end, and really about half of it is not on you guys, but you know, the success of the channel does sort of, you know, rely on you guys showing up and sharing the channel, and let's just grow this community, and let's make every live stream a total fun riot. How about it? Be there for each other, be there to lift one another up, all that good stuff, but most importantly, just be there to be cool and you know, talk about all our nerdy shit together. It's a fun time. Holy cow, look at that. Aaron has been a member for 8 months. Dude, it is just flown by. Holy cow. Like in my head, I think like, oh, Aaron must have joined us like last fall. Like, no. This is like, we're closer to a year than, you know, of membership than that. Awesome. Thank you so much, Aaron. I really do appreciate your channel membership. And guys, the memberships have been climbing lately. And that's amazing. That is amazing. We don't even have 3,000 subs and we have almost 80 channel members, which is incredible. So thank you guys so very much. People have been gifting memberships. That is very generous as well. So yeah, I love that. And I want to let all the members know, I know I've been like blah, blah, blahing about this every single time, but on Monday, we're doing our horror movie club that's for members only. It's just $1 to be a member, $1 a month. And the way we do the horror movie club is it's like a book club, right? So we watch movies independently. It's not like a watch party and discussion. We watch them in our own time. We meet every other week. And instead of just like the casual conversation that we have here, not that it's not casual, but what we do in the horror movie club is we break down the thematic elements of the film. And we've been covering the whole Scream franchise, right? So we're going to be discussing Scream 7 on Monday. We're going to talk about the themes that work within the film itself. And then we're going to talk about the greater overarching themes of the Scream franchise, how Scream 7 fits in with those themes, what it does differently, maybe it connects to one of the movies a little bit more. We're going to like kind of dive in and take a look at all those thematic elements. And we're just going to get really nerdy about it. And it's nice because the membership streams they're a lot more intimate, obviously. So I let my hair down, so to speak, which is difficult to do because I just got a haircut. So it's not as long anymore. But anyway, I digress. Here we go. Chuggers are the SIP Patreon members. I don't even know what SIP is. I'm so out of touch, Linda. We got David hanging out with us. What's happening, David, aka Ruthie? Oh yeah. All right, what else do we got here? Who's hanging out? Wishing it was hot in the UK. Yet again, it's cold and wet. Dude, I miss that so much. I grew up in latitude 58 is the latitude in Juneau. So probably pretty close. I don't know exactly where you are out there, Asha, but I would imagine pretty close. So yeah, like rainy, gray, green. I miss it. I like, it sucks when it's your whole life. I get it. Like I was there for 23 years and 300 days of that a year was rough, but man, when it's pretty, it's the prettiest it's ever been. And then so many, like at least once a month in Phoenix, I would love for it to just be like a gloomy, rainy day. Everyone needs an excuse to just want to like sit on the couch and look out the window and watch the rain and like read a book or play a game or watch a movie. It's comforting, right? Like it's just, Scream mode activated. Oh, and Antonis asked me the other night, what's the first thing that Ghostface says in this movie? The first thing Ghostface says in this movie is, "You are going to die tonight." That's the first thing he says. How about it? How about it? Okay, I'm going to catch up with the rest of y'all. Hollywood Lito. We got our buddy Lito Velasco in the chat. What's happening, Lito? Good to see ya. Admittedly, I told Lito I was going live, so I sort of dragged him into this. But Lito, I postponed going live a few extra minutes so I could catch up with you, bud, because I love you and I love catching up with you and seeing what you have to say. And I know that like we've been messaging a little bit about Scream 7 since it came out, and just I was like, man, I need to spend a little time with my buddy Lito here for a second. So glad to see you joining in. Thank you so much for being a channel member, Lito. I really do appreciate it. I want to have you on the channel to discuss this movie, maybe somewhere down the line, maybe give it some air or sometime soon. I don't know. We can just say fuck it and roll with it, right? We got OG Bloodline hanging out. What's happening? OG. Hope you are doing very, very well. Boom. Look at that. Johnny Keene dropping a £5 super chat. Or is that euro? Is it euro or pound out there? It's got to be pound, right? I would imagine. Or does the UK, do they use euros and pounds? Or did they say F that shit? Didn't they say fuck that shit? Didn't they do the whole Brexit thing? And they're like, no, we don't want your play money. I don't know. Fill me in. I'm not as on top of geopolitics as I should be. But I could talk about the Evil Dead and Scream and Halloween and all that stuff that doesn't really matter. How about that? Johnny says, hey, Davey, really disappointed they didn't bring Stu back alive or set up his return. A waste of Matt's talent. Delighted the film is doing well. Well, that's a sweet, fair look at everything, Johnny. I think that's like where, no matter which side you fall on as far as loving or hating or wherever you are on that spectrum, I think it's good to have like a well-measured, perspective, even given your own opinion, whatever that opinion is. And I get it. Like for people that really wanted Stu alive, for the Stu believers out there, it's probably a little bit tough. I think it could have been a lot tougher. I think they could have just not had him in there at all. And I do think the fact that they dangled it out there for so long, like I think that they put the writers, Kevin Williamson, Guy Busick, and the creative team and everything that put together the story kind of like had their cake and ate it too. And, they're not going to super upset the people that are like, there's no way Stu could be alive. I wouldn't have been upset if Stu really was alive. And I seriously, until all the masks were off, I thought it was possible. Like, regardless of what was being said, I was like, fuck, dude. Because Ghostface was really intimidating in this movie, I thought. When Ghostface is dressed up at all, there's a lot of chasing. There's a lot of tense action in this movie. I think a lot of people are like not mentioning that. This movie is really tense and a lot of chasing and a lot of pursuit. More so than I think, a few of the entries in the franchise for sure. I think there's a lot of pursuit. Like I think of Scream 2 when I think of like those pursuit scenes. The original Scream 2 and this one stands out to me as far as tense pursuit by Ghostface, and Ghostface felt really intimidating to me. So I was like, oh my God, it could be Stu, because I'm getting a real Michael Myers vibe here from Ghostface. But yeah, I don't think it was a waste of Matt's talent. I think his performance is really good. Like I liked Matthew Lillard's performance. I like when you just take the leash off and let him go wild. Wild and unbridled is what I say is the best route with Matthew Lillard. Maybe not every performer, but I can't, like, I really want to meet Matthew so bad. I'll pay whatever it takes, because I would love to tell him that's what I love so much about the way he performs, is that when he lets it go, it is some of the best performing I've ever seen from an actor. And I'd love to talk to him about SLC Punk. And that is certainly the case in SLC Punk. He is completely off the leash, and he's hilarious. He has heart-wrenching moments in that performance, and I thought he was good in here. Would have liked the effect to make it look a little dirtier, though. Looked a little too clean for me. Yeah. Thank you so much for the $5, Johnny. Really do appreciate you, man. And I see you on Horror streams and other, Brit content creator streams and stuff. And, I know it's the time difference and everything. I just want to say, man, I really do love seeing you jump up in the chat and hang out with us over here as well. And this shows me that I got to go live more during UK time. Maybe I can set a regular, what would you guys think? A regular Saturday stream at about this time, at about 9 p.m. UK, 2 p.m. out here in the desert. I think it might work. We got 30 people hanging out right now. So a lot of you are looking for something to watch right now. So let's friggin' go. Lots of woulda, coulda, shoulda streams. Yes. And we're not exactly, and we don't need to lament too much right now. Certainly we can do that, but I'm curious to know what you guys want to see next, because I would not be surprised if we get this thing really quick. There was just a year between Scream 5 and Scream 6. I could see that happening. Like they could greenlight this thing like next week. We could get, because everything I've heard is that they're quietly working on Scream 8 in the background. That they haven't officially gone into pre-production, but it sounds like they've already built a foundation of what they want to do with the story. And they may want to work really quick just to lock in actors because of scheduling and stuff like that. Hey, and lucky for them, they killed a lot of the newcomers in this one, so they don't have to worry about bringing that many people back. It'll probably be 5 or 6 people you need to bring back, something like that. So there we go. Asha says, I think Scream 7 captures the aesthetics of the original trilogy that was missing in 5 and 6, and in some places had the Craven sense of direction. Too bad about the ending. I like the ending a lot more the second time around, Asha, but I hear you. And I think yeah, the direction and the cinematography worked really well for me. There's like one shot during the auditorium kill scene that was a little goofy looking to me, because the camera was so far back and Ghostface is like watching this character swing back and forth, and it was just a little awkward to me, but it's one shot in the movie. I'm not going to harp all over it. Boom, we got official Jacob Pacewells jumping on in. What's happening, Jacob? thank you so much for joining us, man. You're kicking it with the Death Squad. I know I'm really behind on the chat. I'll catch up and everything, but I just wanted to say hi. Jacob says, hey, what's up, Davey? My theory is that all but the first FaceTime calls are fake, and Stu was really there at Tatum's high school. I think Scream 8 is going to be the Maureen Prescott opening kill. I'd like to see some sort of Maureen Prescott thing come back in. I thought they were going to do that with this one to really, like, you know, bring back the original fans and you know, re-educate the newer fans kind of thing. Yeah, and we didn't get that. I still think Stu's gone. I think Kevin made it very clear in the script by having multiple characters scoff at it. I mean, even Mindy says, for any franchise, a retcon like that is too far for any franchise. But then she also says, but Billy Loomis had a love child, so who knows? And so I think that was Kevin's way. All of those times of basically looking at the camera and saying it ain't happening was his way of putting it to bed. But one of the fun things about Fandom, Jacob, is, and things left kind of open, is that we get to theorize. It is fun to talk about all that stuff, for sure. I love it. If not Stu, I think Kirby would have made a good Ghostface for Scream 8. She's FBI, so she has the intel, smarts, and kick-assery to pull it off. Could be secretly related to Stu. And I'm kind of overall I want the exact opposite of people being related to killers. I want it to be fucking random. Like how, and that could be meta too, because we do see a lot of like random, in our ever increasingly divided world, we do see violence that seems to be random or just targeted at, a group in mass, and not necessarily, or even when it's targeted at one person, it just seems to kind of come out of nowhere, from somebody that we never saw coming. And I like that in Scream 7, that it's not like, I'm so happy she wasn't Leslie Mocker. And I hope they don't retcon that in the future. Like, I'm fine with Jessica just being Jessica and being an obsessed fan of Sydney's and needing that. She needs Sydney there killing ghost faces because it makes her feel justified in killing her husband, right? So her version of psychosis is to justify the murder of her husband, that it was okay to do that because he did this and he did that, and Sydney gave her a license to do that. So the fact that Sydney stepped away to her caused this dissonance in her head. She couldn't come to terms with the fact that, maybe she's not justified in her actions. And it, obviously she was crazy to begin with anyways, but it just sort of drives her over the edge. And I liked that it was like random like that, in a sense random, not connected to any of the previous killers. Only seen 2 and 6 of the Scream movies. Oh, well, you've seen one of the better ones and probably the worst one, I would say, OG Bloodline. Look at that. Johnny Keene dropping another super chat. This one for $2 says, is this it for Stu being in Scream, in your opinion? I think so. I think that we got our cake. We ate it too. It's time to put it to bed. It's time to move on. It was awesome that Matthew Lillard had that opportunity, but we can't drag this on forever, like as a fandom. And, from the perspective of the creative people like Kevin Williamson, if I were him, I would feel like I made it pretty clear that we're moving on from the is Stu alive thing. They multiple characters said that he died, so there we go. Yeah, missing paperwork, whatever. Yeah, you can steal that. Right? I mean, in Scream 6, they steal all the evidence from 5 previous mass murder crimes and travel with them 3,000 miles across the country to New York. So stealing Stu's death certificate's not that big of a reach, for sure. Scream 8 should be Stu. Could be a massive misdirect. There is one thing, guys. When the first Ghostface that reveals themselves says, like, what do you think, Stu, or whatever, and that gate opens, the fence gate opens, and we just see the next Ghostface behind the gate. The gate opens towards that Ghostface, but the Ghostface is well far away from the gate. So Jessica didn't open that gate. Somebody else did. Now, it could just be a filming technique for the reveal, and it's just a stagehand that did it, and it doesn't have any bearing on the plot. Or there could be another Ghostface out there that we don't know about that opened that door. Could be. If you guys have only seen it once and you don't quite remember, I didn't catch it the first time, but last night when I saw it, I was like, man, that door just opened up, and Jessica's not there to open up the door. She's in that little alleyway or whatever outside of the fence. So it could just be something they did for the visual storytelling, but it could be something else. Could be something else. And I guess Jessica maybe knew the code to the coffee shop and gave it to Duder. I don't know how Duder knew the code to the coffee shop. That's another thing I can't really figure out. But I'm guessing because Jessica was the neighbor that maybe she saw Sydney enter it, or she took a guess on what the code was, or maybe Sydney even entrusted her because, I don't know, if you have a good relationship with your neighbor and you live in a small town and maybe like you need them to, you're out of town and you need somebody to go, I don't know. Anyways, I'm building it all up in my head. Okay, I'm gonna jump ahead to the front of the chat, guys, because I'm like 20 minutes behind already. Super Tenor, we got Aaron dropping a $2 super chat just to say, hey, Davey and gang. What's happening, Aaron? Thank you so much for jumping in, man. Are you gonna see Scream 7 again? Let me know, guys, in the chat. Have you already seen it twice? Do you have plans to see it twice? If you've seen it twice, are you gonna go a third time? I'm very curious. My scenario for Scream 8, you bring Stu back for real with the cult and have one final battle with Sydney, ending her story because she is still the lead and it goes back to the original, says Joshua Brooks. Yeah, I am. I'm going to end up probably sounding like a dick the more that this conversation goes on, but I just think that I think it's time for Stu to be done. Like, time to move on. He was Billy's lackey in one movie. Like, a very great performance, but as far as like character impact on the franchise, not very big. It's not to take away from the performance. I think the performance is excellent, but come on, guys, it's 7 movies. Let's take it back to just the 6 movies, and he's in there in the first movie, and he's such a lackey of Billy's that he didn't even know that Billy had a motivation. He didn't even know that Maureen Prescott was sleeping with his dad, you know? So he was just Billy's little bitch, basically. I mean, you know, when you really think about it. So yeah, I don't want to, if it like, I could say right now, Joshua, if that's the way that they rolled with it, my eyes would roll in the back of my head and I would be very, very disappointed. But you know, I don't expect to get everything I want or anything like that when it comes to other people making their movies. We got CM Harger. What's happening? One of our brand new channel members. God, thank you so much, guys, to all the new channel members. You guys are great. I believe is it Chris? Is your name is Chris, I believe. All right, maybe I got that wrong. I don't know. Am I the only one who was totally cool with the reveal? Was it the best? No, but it was far from the worst. Dude, after seeing it my second time yesterday, I was so down with the reveal. Yeah, I think the people that are like really not everyone's being disingenuous about their feelings on this movie, but I'm seeing a lot of that for sure. I think there are people that are like, just, I don't know what it is. They're upset about Spyglass not bringing back Melissa Barrera. They're upset that Jenna Ortega didn't come back. They just want something to complain about. I don't know, but I'm seeing a lot of parroting. Like, oh, a group of people said the third act was bad, so everyone else starts coming out and saying the third act is bad. Man, I think the way that the third act played out was awesome. So even if you don't like the reveal, I like the way it all played out. I thought it was great. Like the kidnapping and the fight scene at the house and all that kind of stuff. Like, I really dug that. And I enjoyed the reveal a lot more on a second time, for sure. Like, it made a lot more sense. Yeah. What's happening, Aaron? Welcome on in, bud. So great to see ya. I came up with a theory as a trauma response to the no Stu cult reveal. I talked myself into believing Marco and Jessica declare Stu is actually dead to derail the Stu train for future Stu surprises. It could be a misdirect. I don't see it. To me, it would be even more like we're clinging on to a dream that is an absolute fantasy at this point. And it's like, I think it's going to start reaching pathetic territory with the Stu stuff if we don't move on. I don't think there was anything pathetic about people wanting to see Stu in this movie, but I think if we keep on going, it's like, it's just because we like Matthew Lillard. It doesn't have anything to do with whether or not it serves the story at all. It's just about bringing an actor back that we enjoy. I think that's a shit reason for bringing a character back into a movie. Like, it needs to be justified. It needs to justify its own existence, like these stories in these movies. And yeah, they could. It's possible, but I think they made it pretty clear here that Stu's dead. So I would like that to be the thing moving forward. And it didn't sound like a conspiracy theory when people were talking about Stu coming back for 7. All of the talk that I'm seeing about could he come back for 8 sounds like wacky conspiracy theory kind of stuff to me. So hopefully I don't sound like a jerk, but it's smells a little desperate is what I'll say. All right, let's see here. Yeah, really big pond between Australia and the States for sure, and a couple between the UK and Australia, right? All right, yeah, yes. I just hope that, I don't know what it, like, there is something within fandom where it's like we never want to let go of anything, right? Like, we want Stu back. Anna Camp has to be Leslie Mocker because her character doesn't have a name on the IMDb, which turned out to be a brilliant move by the marketing. If they put Jessica in there, it would have been, oh, it's just a fake name. Like, it's good that they just put Sydney's neighbor. There's no name. And yeah, we want everything to be connected in a way that, it just, in my opinion, guys, and I'm not calling anyone stupid or anything like that. It's just really convoluted. Like, if you take a step back and think about like proper storytelling, I think that at some point your brain will click and say, yeah, that's not everyone needs to be like a secret love child or like a relative we never knew about. Like, that's a little hokey. Like, it's a little too silly, I think. So I would like to go the random route. In fact, I thought it would be a little more random in this movie, but I'll take the amount of randomness we got. How about that? Let's see what else we got here. No, ashes in your mouth. Oh my gosh. Yeah, a little bit of my Dave Mustaine. Hello, me. Meet the real me. It's funny enough, that's like my Ghostface voice as well. Holy cow, Emoji Matt jumps on in, drops a $4.99 super chat and says, hola, forget the movie. I haven't had red meat in 10 years and I'm really craving pork belly for some reason. Dude, it's because it's delicious. I mean, congrats to you for 10 years abstaining from anything has got to be difficult. I think red meat is delicious. I'm not here to get into any sort of discussion about whether it's ethical or not. I just think we evolved a certain way. It might hurt some people's feelings that creatures die so we can have proper, nutrients, but that's the way this world works. There's a lot of animals that eat other animals. We're not the only ones. I don't know why I had to say all that. I really didn't have to say all that. Thank you so much, Emoji Matt, for dropping a $4.99. Dude, go get some pork belly tacos, like pork belly burrito, like something like that. Like, if you Mexican food and pork, like that, when I think pork, I'm like, I would love to have it in Mexican food fashion, or a breakfast kind of thing, like a sausage kind of thing. Let's see here. What else do we got? Oh, Alan Parsons Project. So where do we go from here? That's just, we love that, don't we? We got Don Keat jumping on in. What's happening, Don? Says hello from across the pond. Hope you're well. I haven't watched Scream 7, but I enjoyed watching Until Dawn. Pardon the pun, my name being Don. I've heard from with Until Dawn, and I haven't seen it. Right? Wait, no, I did see Until Dawn. Oh my gosh, and I totally forgot that I saw it. Wow. I had heard before I saw it that the people that weren't familiar with the video game liked it more than the people who were. And I thought it was okay, it was fine. It didn't push the needle for me. But yeah. I didn't think it was bad, you know, Don. And I'm sorry, Don, if anything was spoiled for you for Scream 7, there's going to be some stuff said that could be construed as or would be just straight up spoilers. So feel free to bail if you need to. I won't be mad at you. In fact, guys, I had somebody tell me, they commented on my post of me hanging out with the knife setup at AMC. And they were like, I wish you would have waited a week to do this stream, and so you could give more people more time to watch the movie and jump in on the discussion. And they said they're unsubscribing because I did a spoiler stream on Thursday night. I don't know. I gave him I left a very sweet response and just told him, like, dude, I'm trying to get more people's eyes on the channel. Like, I don't have a big channel. I can't just sit on my hands and wait a week for some arbitrary timeline. So hopefully I haven't turned, you know, a whole bunch of people away from the channel. Of course, you know, you can click the link to watch or not. You don't have to. And obviously that wasn't the only time I'm going to talk about the movie. So there's going to be plenty of runway for people, you know, for all of you guys to get in on a live and say your piece for sure. I really value your guys' input and engagement for sure. It's without it, the channel's just me talking at a wall. Alex Erickson jumps on in and says, I feel like as simple as during the reveal, have the mom killer be Stu's sister. Even if they change nothing else, that boosts this so much. Explains why she used Stu with the AI so much. See, and I feel the exact opposite, Alex. I feel like it would have cheapened it and made it cringy and eye-rolling. For me, as a fan that's been there since the beginning, I would not have liked that. I did not want it to be Stu's sister at all. And explaining why they use Stu so much with the AI, it's because Duder was good with the AI, Ethan Embry's character, and they, you know, Jessica's inspired by Sid and Duder is inspired by Stu. He wasn't, even the guy at the very beginning of the movie was like, he said he's more of a Stu head. So it's like we get this idea that there are people that are like the Billy fans and the Stu fans. And I think they did a good job of, like, you know, you don't need a familial reason to bring Stu back, you know? So I'm on the total opposite side of you as that one, but you know, we're all fans and we all have, like, obviously a right to our own opinion and everything. And I don't know, maybe I'd be interested to know, Alex, as you watch the movie more, if any of that changes, because my opinions on films change quite a bit the more I watch them. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, you know? Crazy. It's crazy. All right, let's see what else we got here. Riley Rage jumping on in, says struts into the chat. Hey, bitches. I love that, Riley. Welcome on in. You're kicking it with the Death Squad. I am so far behind on the chat. Let's see here. That. Yeah, I know we don't have a moderator in here. OG Bloodline, let's just, you know, any kind of personal questions we have for people, let's just, you know, other people in the chat and stuff like that, let's just, you know, we're here to talk about movies and stuff like that. We're not here to dig into you know, people's personal lives and stuff like that. So let's just be respectful of that. Let's be cool and talk some horror movies, right? There we go. Well, I don't know about that. I'm glad that they didn't address any of that. I want these movies to be timeless, and luckily I didn't feel like there was any real world politics that came into this movie, and I find that so fucking refreshing. You know, things won't be as time if you look back in 20 years and like, oh no, like that. I think that's what Scream 5 is going to be like. We're going to look back in 20 years and we're going to be like, we had two Ghostfaces that were like mad that the movies weren't good anymore. You know, they're toxic Last Jedi haters, like, pretty much. And I think that's going to be like cringe as fuck when we look back at Scream 5. Scream 5 and 6 are going to like deteriorate, you know, like a paper cup in a dump, you know, whereas all the other movies are going to be like styrofoam. Like, you just can't get rid of these fuckers. Let's see here. 7.2 on a rating. I don't think that's that bad. I think that's pretty all right. Yeah. Gotcha. They were going to de-age. Even if they just scratched everything up, you know, why did David Arquette have a Hitler haircut? Dewey's never had a Hitler haircut. Scott Foley and David Arquette, I'm like, they don't even look like the characters. It's just Scott Foley. It's just David Arquette. It's like, so they could have put Roman, it could have had Roman wearing his glasses, that it's just like black t-shirt and what, you know, I guess the t-shirt thing that makes sense because the person that's doing the deep fakes would be wearing the same thing, but it's like the glasses, the Hitler haircut, weird. Like, I'm like, it's David Arquette delivering Dewey lines. This is not Dewey Riley, is how it felt like to me, you know? Okay, guys, I am very, very far behind. I'm going to catch up to the chat here. If I have missed one of your chats or one of your questions that you've got, feel free to put it in the chat again, because I'm going to go right to the bottom of the chat. And if I keep on missing it or whatever, you really want to make sure you can always, if you send in a $2 super chat, at the very least, like, I'll get to your question. So it's not a requirement, but if you want to make sure I really don't miss it, there you go. And then I'm just going to kind of prioritize some of the, you know, the members are going to get a little bit more of that priority. Still going to hop on other people's chats as well, of course. But we got a lot of people here with a lot to say. Like, Scream makes us think and feel and theorize and all that stuff, and it's, man, it's a blessing that this franchise gives us so much beyond just the, you know, the experience of watching the film. Isn't that amazing how art can do that? Like, isn't that incredible that you could watch a 2-hour movie, you could talk about that movie for 2 hours, and it wouldn't even be close to enough if, you know, provided that you love the movie. It's amazing. Let's see here. We got Gina, aka My Chunky Jordy, hanging out in the chat. What's happening, Gina? So happy you could join us. Join us today. Love it. I love it. Let's see here. Felt like oh, are you talking about the stew thing? See, I don't get that. Oh, wait. The teacher scolding her furry performance, it was so bizarre. Felt like executives. Yeah, that to me seems totally random. I did see people that were like, why is Sydney mean in this movie? And I'm like, what? Mean? Like, is this why is she mean? I didn't get that. I was like, I didn't think she was mean at all. What's happening, King Matthew? Got home from Scream 7, really loved it. Rating is 7 out of 10. That is a pretty darn good rating. Yeah. I was 3.5, 4 after the first time, and after the second time, I'm like, yeah, this is a 4. This is a 4 out of 5. For sure, for me, yeah. Look at that. Gina's been a member for 18 months, a year and a half, Gina. Thank you so much for being so supportive. You know, I know that I don't do this as often as I should, and look at this, we've got 41 people hanging out, and maybe the Scream is the milkshake that's bringing everyone to the yard here. I'm not going to pretend that it's just the fact that I'm live, but now I'm like, man, maybe I should do this every Saturday. How would that sound for you Brits and for you non-Brits? How does it sound? And thank you for using a membership chat to say something so sweet as to remind everyone to hit that like button. You're awesome, Gina. Really do appreciate you, bud. All right, let's see what else we got here. I'm not sure what that's in reference to, but I'll take it. Oh my God, I'm a half hour behind on the chat. Yeah, guys, we need to stop. Yeah, thank you, Erica, one of our great channel members, and man, the toughest mod out there. Yeah, if people are asking personal questions of anyone, it's not that's not welcome here. I'll just say that. Okay. His acting wouldn't have been different whether his character. Yeah, I think the acting was really good. Yeah, I like that. Fan theories being greater than the final script needs to be the new meta. Yeah, you know, I mean, they kind of touched on that on Scream 5 with them wanting to, like, make the right movie, you know, make the true sequel or whatever, like, you know, what they're talking. I think I don't think that's a bad idea to, you know, something that you could use as the meta aspect in a movie moving forward, Riley. I think that's pretty all right. And I think this movie, even though Kevin said it was like not so heavy on the meta and all that stuff, I got quite a bit of meta. They really do take their shots at Scream 6 here multiple times. And I appreciated that because Scream 6 deserves it. I liked that quite a bit. And did you guys notice when, you know, Stu is like, oh, Gale Weathers, like, you got fired. And Gale's like, I wasn't fired. My contract wasn't renewed. I was like, damn, dude, that is such a perfect joke to all the haters of Scream 7, the boycotters or whatever, the people that want to continue to believe that Melissa Barrera was fired and not just, she wasn't rehired. That's what happened. If you want to call that firing, I guess that's up to you, but I believe that words have meaning and we don't just get to arbitrarily change the definition of words to fit whatever narrative or whatever cause we have. You know, it's just creating new lexicons to justify like your unreasonability. Pretty sad stuff. All right, I'm truly gonna jump ahead. I swear to all. Gorehound Gazette drops a $5 super chat. Thank you so very much. Says, funny story, I found a kill count for Scream 7 and accidentally spoiled myself about who Ghostface is. Did they already put out a kill count? Wow, Dead Meat was quick on that one. I guess I'll have to watch that because I'm curious as to who killed who. Although some of them are pretty obvious, right? Like the beer tap kill and stuff. That's pretty obvious who that is. There's no way it's let's just say this. It's somebody who genetically would have superior upper body strength. I'll say that. Thank you for putting that out there, Erica. I do appreciate it. Yeah, thank you so much, Erica. Not cool, guys. We're here to talk about movies, okay? So let's be respectful to one another. Yeah. Let's just recognize we all have boundaries. Like, you get to set your boundaries, other people get to set theirs. And when somebody lets you know that, you know, you're crossing one of their boundaries, let's just be cool and respectful about it, right? We don't, you know, not everything is needs to be taken personally. There's just a level of decorum here and courtesy that we, you know, want everyone to extend to everyone else. And we want everyone to feel comfortable here, right? It's just a chat room on a live stream, okay? So you know, we should all feel comfortable and happy to chit chat about Scream. Let's see here, did I miss? Oh, I got that one. Gorehound Gazette, are you Grumpy Gorehound and you changed your name? Maybe. Thank you so much for this the $5 super chat. Really appreciate you. Just wanted to make sure I gave you some extra love on that one. Okay, guys, I'm climbing all the way to the front of the chat because I am so friggin' far behind. Okay, there we go. Cool. I may have missed some of you guys coming in. I hope that, you know, if you keep on participating, I'll get your hellos in there as well. Hollywood Lido is dropping a $4.99 super chat. And he says, we'll be going at least a third time. Jenny leaves again tomorrow night, so I'll have more free time. Very excited to come on and discuss 7 with you. Yes. You know, after watching your reel on it, Lido, I was like, man, I miss Lido's voice. I miss chatting horror with Lido. I love your perspective, man. It comes from a place of being like not only a true fan, but you know, being an actor and doing the, you know, the cosplay stuff and you know, being a musician. I feel like you are able to, you know, somebody that's like has industry experience as well. You're able to like have a really well-rounded viewpoint of things. And I really appreciate that because my viewpoint is not that well-rounded. So I love having that extra perspective. Yeah, I'm probably going to see it a third time as well, guys, because I saw it in IMAX. And then last night was just kind of your standard theater. And then I want to see it in the Dolby. So I need to drive to a different AMC because the one closest to me doesn't have the Dolby. And Dolby, I don't know if you got a thing, your favorite way to experience a movie. If you can watch, like if there's a movie coming up that you really are excited for, trust me, watch it in the Dolby if you can. It is, to me, the most immersive, encapsulating experience. You feel so much of the movie. Like, I'm serious. Like F1, Fantastic Four, Superman, all of those in Dolby were better in Dolby than in any other format that I saw them in. So I'm just a believer. And even if you don't go to AMC, whichever one has the best sound, that's what I recommend. Do that. That's my public service announcement for what kind of theater you should go to. Holy cow, guys, 40 people hanging out with us. Y'all are beautiful. Thank you so much. Hit the like button if you haven't, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. We are, the channel's growing. We are knocking on the door of 3,000 subscribers. So very, very excited about all that. We got Eli Cortez hanging out with us, one of our great channel members, and Death Squad mods. What's happening, Eli? And he's dropping Lito's channel. Show some support to our brother. Yeah, Lito is not only on the YouTube front. Lito writes music for movies. He's an actor. He does a lot of fun stuff. He's a good guy to check out if you're interested in horror, you know, if you want to be increase your community awareness or whatever you want to call it. Holy cow, look at that. We got Carrie Craves Cinema jumping on in, one of our great channel members. What's happening, Carrie? Hope you are doing well. Very excited to check out your stream. And Carrie, it looks like I'll be sending in a video for you to use on your stream here coming this week. So I'm excited because I have not, other than the short non-spoiler review I put together, I have not gone to pre-recorded video to discuss this movie. Guys, I don't generally do movie reviews because no one watches them. If you're wondering why I don't do movie reviews, it's because I've tried a couple times in a couple different phases during the channel's existence. I've tried to do movie reviews and the views are just not there. So I figured, you know what, if I ever get to 10,000 subscribers, maybe I'll start doing reviews again. But if you guys want to see like a full, let's just cut this fucker open and spill the guts all over, full spoiler review of Scream 7, let me know in the chat. Because I don't know what the hell to do. I don't know if I should or shouldn't. We got Gory Tiger hanging out. What's happening, Gory? So good to see you. So good to see you. Adrian James in the house. What's happening, Adrian? Melissa Wildcard. What's happening, Melissa? Says, hey, Davey, I was supposed to go see it today, but now not until tomorrow. Well, I hope you've been able to avoid spoilers. We're talking some spoilers in here, Melissa, so you might want to jump out, you know, depending on your feelings about that. So I just want to give you a warning, okay? Let's see here. Who else do we have? Oh, did I miss Jamie? Did we have a Jamie jump in? Did we? Oh, there we go. Jamie Vicha. I really don't care if Melissa returns, but would be happy to see Jenna Ortega return. And I'm flip-flopped on that because I think Tara is not a very well-written character in both of those movies, unfortunately. She just kind of whines. She's just sort of there. I think Sam is a well-written character. She had a good arc, you know, for just 2 movies. I thought she had a good arc. And I think I like Melissa Barrera better as an actress, honestly. I know Jenna Ortega is like the hot thing and all that. And I don't think she's a bad actress. It's like every movie I've seen, everything I've seen with Jenna Ortega, it's kind of the same. And I think I've only seen Melissa in the 2 Scream movies and in Abigail. So I don't have that much of a, you know, as much of a track record to look back on, but I think she's gotten better as an actress throughout like her career. And she's fucking absolutely gorgeous. I mean, goddamn. So yeah, I'm a guy that likes prominent eyebrows. I'll say that. I'm a fan. Guys, this is my brother Matt here. He started a new channel called Doom Scroll Slop. And to give you guys a little bit of a perspective, my brother is a visual effects artist, right? So he's been working in like 3D matte painting and all that for years in Hollywood. So he, you know, you see all this AI stuff come out and he's just like, you know what, fuck it. I'm just going to do some sort of like parody, silly YouTube account. And what he's been doing is he's been creating these shorts and he's using AI, but it's all sort of like a kind of a tongue-in-cheek thing. And it's like these shorts, these like history shorts that are, they've got factual accuracies, but there's just something a little fun about them. So if you want something silly to add to your YouTube algorithm, then check out Doom Scroll Slop. Eli, if you're still in the chat, if you could drop the link, that would be great. I'd appreciate it if you could, if somebody could drop that. If Amber can kill Dewey and Quinn can kill Gail's boyfriend, Jessica can kill her own son. I don't think she could pick him up and put him on the spout though. Yeah, and it's another, like, Yeah, I mean, that's why another reason why Screams 5 and 6 are just not very high on my list. It's I don't think Radio Silence understands the franchise. I think they showed very clearly in 2 movies that it's not like they completely botched it, but I don't think they understand the franchise. If I were like, and I'm worried about the Mummy movie that they're making, although the Mummy movie kind of fits their vibe. Like the Mummy movie is probably going to be like Abigail, but with the Mummy. So maybe it fits their thing a little bit better, and the Mummy isn't as precious to me as something like Scream. But I think, again, Screams 5 and 6 are going to age dreadfully, I think, as time goes on. You know? And I think that maybe the people that they won't age dreadfully for are the people that came into the franchise with those movies. That those movies are going to be near and dear to the younger generation, that's maybe how they found the franchise, you know? Man, they really blew it not having her in the movie, in either movie, right? Christina Carpenter's a pretty bad mom in those movies, right? Both of her daughters get attacked in Scream 5. She doesn't even try to make it back. It's kind of weird. I didn't even read my brother's. I didn't even really read that. Let's not squabble over ooh doo from Monty Python and the Search for the Holy Grail. All right, let's see here. It looks like I'm all caught up. I'm going to check in on our poll over here. Guys, we're 6/10 of the way there. If you guys want to talk for a little bit longer, did we already? Oh, the goal ended and we didn't reach it. Oh, damn. I thought we were going to reach the goal, guys. I thought we were going to reach it. Let me jump in and check out our poll. I'm going to close that out. We're at about 49 votes. Let's see what you guys say. So what do you want to see from Scream 8? Continue on with Tatum in the lead is 41%. Expand the Cult of Stu idea is 35%. Sydney/Tatum road trip movie, 18%. I kind of like that idea, not gonna lie. Like they go on like a college, like they're searching for Tatum's college. Something happens, could be kind of cool. Total reboot, 6% of you say total reboot. All right, that's I'm surprised. Although, I mean, I put it up there, so maybe I shouldn't be so surprised. All right, let's see what we got here. It's so funny. I've spent the whole point of the stream was to talk about what we want to see from Scream 8, but I've just been kind of trying to catch up on the chat. I'm such a slave to the chat. You know what I mean? CM Harger drops a $5 super chat and says, those kills are exactly why the Stu train left the station. I never bought Amber or Quinn committed oh, gotcha. Never bought Amber or Quinn committed those murders for that reason. Gotcha. So you think Stu's been there since 5 and 6? Yeah, I guess that is kind of true that there is that, you know, yeah, Amber doesn't technically pick up Dewey. It looks like she kind of does, but apparently she didn't. Yeah, I don't know, man. Amber as a Ghostface. It's like I can't hate on Scream 5. I'm just so like indifferent. It's just like you kill your best red herring 5 minutes after we meet him. Stupid. And not to mention that Kyle Gallner is like a fantastic actor. So why you put him in the movie and then just get rid of him like 5 minutes later, throw him in the trash? Kind of weird. And it was a shit death too. It was a really shitty, like, I'm trying to think of like memorable deaths in Screams 5 and 6. And it's like, Liv getting shot by Amber, I guess is like the death in Scream 5 that's like actually memorable. Yeah. Kind of piss poor. Stu could still possibly be alive. Scream 7 did not debunk the theory. Maybe he sees that the killers parade around him and he finds Sydney there. Yes. Diamond Python, they don't look right at the camera and say, hey, everyone, Stu is definitely dead. Like, they don't do that, but they kind of do that. So, yeah, I mean, maybe it's possible. I think it's like I said earlier in the stream, I think it sort of reeks of desperation to want to keep this thing going. I feel like they were pretty damn definitive in Scream 7 that Stu is officially dead. And we're reaching the territory with our fandom to where it is just denial. And maybe it is going to be a 12-step kind of thing for some people. but this feels like denial to me, for sure. And that's not like I'm not trying to make it a personal thing, Diamond Python. You're not the only person to say that they think Stu could come back in Scream 8, or that Stu was really there. And yeah, I will give you this. It is possible. Yes. I would be extremely disappointed if they went that route, especially after what we just got. You know, we just got Stu, and Stu is in Scream 7 a lot. So I think Stu Believer fans, like Stu Believers, should be very happy we got what we did. They got, like, honestly, and I know this is going to sound dickish again. Usually I'm very like middle of the road about this stuff, but Stu Believers got more than they deserved. I'll say that. For a dead character, you got more than you deserved. So you should be very, very happy. You know, very happy. If I were a Stu fan, like, not that I'm not, but if I were like he's got to be alive, sure, maybe there would be some disappointment, but I'd also be like, he's still there, you know, still there. What can you do? Holy cow, I didn't even see that. Didn't even see that. Thank you so much, Eli. Just throwing a little bit of that good, you know, fun chaos in the mix. MTC says, I was kind of disappointed the fact the movie played out like 3 or 4 spots, places, and also when Ghostface was chasing Tatum, there was no eerie sounds for tension. Well, I thought it was pretty tense even without the sounds, but I agree that sound design can really, you know, put you there. Sound is huge for me in movies. So I guess I just didn't even notice that there wasn't that much of that. I don't mind that it was a relatively, like, you know, small scope because they live in a small town. I did think it was funny that they live in this tiny town, but like no one can get anywhere. Like Gail knows exactly where the attack is happening when they're at the news station, but she doesn't show up until the very end of the movie. She doesn't like go to the bar and then maybe go to the cafe and then maybe be like, I guess I'll go to Sydney's house. Like, come on, Gail, do a little, like, you're an investigative reporter, like do a little something. And also I didn't expect the police to adhere to the, you know, curfew as well. I think the police missed out on patrolling their tiny little town. Like, where the hell were they? You'd think that the police would be up and down that main drag, right? Trying to, like, is it the honor system curfew? Where, like, the cops just go home and put their feet up and they're like, well, we put in a curfew. Like, no, you still have to enforce. Having a law or having a, you know, some sort of ordinance is meaningless if you're not going to at least keep an eye out to enforce it, right? It's so honor system laws and ordinances, not a good idea. You know, and you can apply that to other things, not just a curfew in a fantasy movie. I'm such a slacker being so interactive with your chat. Well, I feel bad. People are going to jump in on the stream and they're going to be like, where's the Scream 8 talk? Like, what's the, but I get, you know, some of you guys have been really good about it, talking about what you want to see. Even the people that want to see Stu in Scream 8. Yeah. She is in it. Yeah. She's got some great one-liners. She has a really sweet moment with Sydney that gave me goosebumps, and I thought was like the most, like, I felt a lot of that emotion there for sure. Yeah. He's a great actor. He's got a really good look. Like, I love the look they gave him. He is, you know, for people that are attracted to dudes, that's one attractive dude. So all these things, like, for me, it's like, man, he's such a great performer in all these horror movies. They could have kept him around. Even if you're going to kill him off, keep him around a little bit longer in Scream 5. Let that red herring build. I think that's something that Scream 7 could have done a little bit too, is, you know, our teen characters, our teen group, could at least a couple of them have made it to the last 20 minutes of the movie, 15 minutes of the movie, something like that. Like, they sort of like diminished the red, you know, they whittled everything down to where it was like a bit more obvious as to what was probably going on. But yeah, I love his acting too. I think Kyle's great. I'd go to see any movie with him in it, like, seriously, especially if it's a horror movie. Okay, here we go. Let me see what I'm missing out on. The people holding out hope that Stu is alive. It would just be weird if now that, yes. Yeah, Aaron, you're right. Like, yes, technically. It reminds me of Billy Madison. Technically, shut up, Brian. Just shut up. Yes, technically they didn't drive to the grave and dig it up and open up the casket and do a DNA test or grab a tooth out. Like, they didn't do all these things and show you right on camera, but I felt like as far as storytelling mechanisms go, they did everything they could to be like, yeah, he's dead. He's dead, but his spirit isn't. I think that's just as powerful. Like, why do we, again, I think we need to ask ourselves, for the people that want Stu to come back, do you want Stu to come back because you think it makes sense in the story? Or is it because we just love Matthew Lillard and we want to see more of him in Scream movies? Because I don't think that's a good enough reason to bring a character back. And we always are going to have the performances that he's given the franchise anyways. Yeah, it's not... You know, stories shouldn't be written around just keeping people in employment, if that makes sense. I know probably what I'm saying is very controversial. Yeah, the music was really good. I like how they opened up with the chant choir, you know, very reminiscent of like the first film. I was getting vibes of the first two movies there with that. I thought that was really cool with the Paramount logo, kind of like when Paramount in the later days of the Jason movies, you'd get the as the stars go around the mountain and all that. Like, I liked how they did that. That was a cool sort of, you know, way to kind of bring us back. Yeah, I thought the music was really good. And then, you know what? Another shout out I was going to give that I didn't give in my short review is Mark Consuelos. He was good. He was good. And I'm glad that they didn't go like ridiculous with his character. I was like, all right. You know, like some of the side character, like, I don't think any of the acting was like necessarily bad. There were some moments with Anna Camp in the first half of the movie that I thought she felt a little stiff. But I think all the acting was actually really good in this movie. And people are talking about cringy dialogue, and I mean, I guess that is just like such a taste kind of thing. And I'm not saying that every single line lands for me in the movie, but I didn't walk away from the movie thinking, oh, that dialogue was cheesy. Yeah. Riley says, I will always consider 5-6 its own thing, but with Chad and Mindy present. Yeah, kind of like an Elseworlds. The vibe of this makes me unsure of where to place it. Feels more like 5 and 6 than 4 or 1. Yeah, I think it feels more like... to me, it fits in more with the first 4 movies for sure. And I totally get what you're saying. 5 and 6 do have their... very, very much have their own kind of vibe. They're not totally outside of the formula. So I think they fit. They're just like not quite there. It feels like fan fiction. 5 and 6 feel like fan fiction, you know? Marco is incredible. I nearly cried with joy when I met him on the set of our documentary. That is awesome. Yeah, he really brings it, man. It's the score to horror movies. That's important. Who's doing the score? You know, we always look back on those. You know, the big 3 have great scores. You know, and they're all different, right? And I think Marco he's got more of that kind of classical feel, but there is something modern. Marco is sort of like that Harry Manfredini with a more modern twist on it, right? But we're still getting those strings. We're still getting that psycho, that classic kind of vibe. And I think, not that, you know, obviously synthwave works really well in horror too, depending on what kind of horror movie you're doing. I'm never gonna not like orchestral arrangements for a horror movie. Like, that will always work for me. Whereas synthwave, I don't know if synthwave would always work for every movie. It certainly works, the ones that it's there for. If you did synthwave with like Friday the 13th, like that, you know, would be weird, right? But man, strings, love it. Love it. We got Jigsaw jumping in, dropping a $2 super chat, says happy Saturday. $2 to wish you all a happy Saturday. Thank you so very much, Jiggy. You are awesome. Really do appreciate you. Everyone that's dropping super chats, you guys are incredible. Thank you so very much. Yeah, man, in Scream 4, the police like take 40 minutes to go across town. Again, these are small towns. We're led to believe they're small towns. I grew up in a small town, guys. In my small town, it was 10 minutes from downtown to the valley, as they called it. So like the two opposite kind of sides of the most populated areas, just 10-minute drive, maybe 15 depending on the weather. So I get the idea that Sydney probably lives like 5 minutes away from work, and the TV station is 5 or 10 minutes away from there. And I don't know. It's movie logic, guys. I'm not going to beat them up too much over it or anything like that. I think they just went home. I think they misunderstood the mission. They're like, it's a curfew. I have to go. I can't be out there. Like, no, Officer Jim, you should patrol. Like, and if you see the Ghostface guy, maybe you should let some people know. Because, like, Ghostface just gets to do whatever, you know? It's what happens when you don't enforce laws. Fake Leslie Mocker killing her son makes no sense. One, she's not Leslie Mocker. So, and if they retcon that, that's too bad. Because I think that would be a colossal mistake. And she didn't kill the son. It was Ethan Embry's character. There's no way that she could have picked that kid up and done that. There are physiological differences between men and women, regardless of what people want you to believe. And I don't believe that she would be able to pick him up and do that. Jumping all over the bar and all that stuff too. Probably not even that, because she was relatively short, right? Saw Scream 7 last night and have not gotten to talk to anybody about my thoughts on it. Sean, this is a safe place to just let it all out. What do you got? I've seen it twice. I liked it even more the second time. So what do you got? Ernest Justice says, I feel the same way with Halloween as I do Scream. Leave it alone for a good 10 years. And that would be, they did that between Scream 3 and 4. And I think Scream 4 is the best sequel in the franchise. So a little bit of air to breathe, and for things to kind of change culturally. I think that's good. And what's crazy with Scream 4 is things changed culturally. Wes and Kevin were still ahead of their time. They were like 10 years ahead of their time with that movie. That to me is absolutely incredible. And say what you want about Scream 4. You don't have to like the way every scene looks with the Vaseline kind of look on some of those shots. Again, it's not every shot in the movie. Say what you want about it, whatever. I think what they had to say about where society was heading, they fucking nailed. Just like in Scream 7, if you're wondering what the motive was in Scream 7, you're like, why? The motive doesn't make any sense. There's no motive. I've seen a lot of people saying shit like that. Watch it again. Pay attention to what Mindy says in the bar when she's doing her Agatha Christie thing. Because just like Kevin and Wes predicted where social media was heading when they made Scream 4, when they filmed it, 2010, it released in 2011. And then you look at where we're at today, Jill would fit right fucking in. Jill would be an absolute celebrity in 2026, right? That's way ahead of its time. And then in Scream 7, Mindy lays it all out in the bar. That is the motive for Jessica. That's it. So if you think you missed it, it's because because the first time I watched the movie, it didn't occur to me, that connection. The second time watching it, I was like, And Mindy is usually, even though they joke about her not getting it right, she called Ethan in 6. She was very suspicious. She basically called him right out. And Quinn. She was right about them. I liked Mindy in this movie. I didn't like her so much in 6. I liked her fine in 5. In 6, she was a little insufferable. I just think the writing for 5 and 6 wasn't as good. In this movie, I liked her a lot more. Always loved Chad. I think Mason Gooding is absolutely just such a natural performer. Have I seen Kyle? I've seen a little bit of that movie. I can't remember if I saw the whole thing. But I remember he's just a little kid, right? He's probably like 12 years old in that movie. I remember that there's like the shot on the poster and the big shot from the movie where like all the evil is like coming out of him. And it looks like this like cork honeycomb sort of termite nest kind of. It's just this weird goop that's coming out of him. It was just so bizarre. I wonder what that would look like now, because I would imagine the digital effects maybe haven't aged so well. But I should go back, because I can't say with confidence that I've seen the whole movie. I feel like I've seen the end. Like I walked in to like a buddy and his girlfriend watching, when I lived at this place called the Zombie House in Portland, where we did like house shows and stuff. And it was my band buddies. We all lived in this house, and I'm pretty sure that's where it was. And I just had walked in, and like my drummer buddy and his girlfriend were watching it or something. And I just saw a little bit of the end. All I can say is that I'm glad they cannot take Scream franchise to space, says Danielle Garcia. You never know. Hey, I guess if Stu could still possibly be alive, then they could possibly go to space. Yeah, I don't think they'll go to space. I don't think Michael will ever go to space. I don't think Scream will ever go to space. Freddy could, because it's just a dream demon. So there you go. You could take Freddy to space, and it's not. That's actually like more believable. That'd be wild. That'd be wild to see. Zero gravity, bitch. Probably get some stupid line like that. Having Freddy say bitch after everything he says, that's a decision that I wish they could take back. I'm way overplaying it for sure. Linda says, yes, I just wish we got more Mark Consuelos. Maybe in the next one. Yeah, I liked his character. I was like, they put enough out there where I was like, could he still be involved? And I guess if is he the one that opened up the gate for what's her face to walk through? Someone was there. Even if Matthew Lillard is in on it as himself, just promoting his Scream vodka, people would still complain. Well, yeah, and even like Matthew Lillard, you know, it's a famous like background cameo that he's in Scream 2 with bleached hair, like in the background of the party. And seriously, people will be like, well, Stu was in Scream 2. And it's like, Stu and Matthew are not the same person. Shock. Like, Matthew just happened to be visiting the set and jumped into the background. That's all it was. But it's not Stu. It's Matthew Lillard as an extra. Anna Camp helped redeem the issues with the film. Yeah, I really enjoyed her performance, especially in the final act, a lot more on the second time. The unhinged nature, I really dug. And man, I think Ethan Embry did a really good job here. Again, I'm not trying to single anyone out or really leave anyone out or anything. I think the performances were all pretty damn strong. But it was really cool to see somebody like Ethan Embry in this role. Haven't seen him much since I was a kid in the 90s, really, you know? Empire Records, Can't Hardly Wait, Vegas Vacation, stuff like that. Oh, he was in Dutch with Ed O'Neill. Dutch is really good. If you guys haven't seen that and you want a good Thanksgiving road trip movie, Dutch is really good. A little chubby-cheeked Ethan Embry in that movie. But I love the prosthetics they put on his face to make him look, you know, older, you know, a little more homely, just, you know what I mean? Like they gave his face this texture, and I thought it was a really good look because if you just showed me what he looked like and you said, what actor is this? It would probably take me a minute or two to figure that out, that it's him. Dude, she's star of the show. Of course, Nev is fabulous. And I think this is like one of the most interesting versions of Sydney we've seen in Scream 7. Complex, flawed, and yeah, probably we've never really seen her broken. This is probably like as broken as we've seen her, you know. It's not like she's a bad mom, but she can't connect and relate with her daughter, and that is like a very real thing, I would imagine, that parents deal with all of, you know, it could happen with any of your kids where maybe you struggle to connect, and maybe it's just different points in their life where you're struggling to connect when they're a teenager, you're struggling to connect, blah blah blah. I thought it was a really like relatable kind of thing to put in there, and to show that she is not this perfect, you know, she's a great final girl, not a perfect mom. And I think that's refreshing and okay. And I like that she has a really great moment with Tatum at the end of the movie. And I thought the dialogue was really good. Like Isabel May, the way this was the first thing I've ever seen her in. She carries all the different emotions so well. Her facial acting is very impressive. You know, just, it's tough to I'm trying to articulate it as best I can. But I was just completely blown away at how much she was able to show in just one movie. And I'm sitting there watching it for the first time, and I'm like, this actress could carry the franchise moving forward. She absolutely could. She was really, really great. You were cry laughing on your second viewing. What about when Carl gets hit by the car? I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah, it didn't feel off to me. Kenneth says this felt off, but considering the development problems, I think they did pretty well. I mean, really, the only development problems they had, you know, they lost people because of the, you know, political fallout or whatever you want to call it. the movie would have been worse without Kevin Williamson. That's absolutely, like, I wholeheartedly believe that. I don't even question that. If Kevin Williamson doesn't direct this movie and jump in to doctor up the script, I think Scream 7 would have been worse than Screams 5 and 6. Yeah. Yeah, I've never seen, this is the first thing I've ever seen Anna Camp in, is Scream 7. Yeah, I didn't watch True Blood. I haven't seen any of the Pitch Perfect movies either. Meek Twins dialogue is piss poor, which made me cringe in 5 and 6, but in 7 it was actually a lot better. Yeah. Yeah, and I wanted Chad, Mindy, and Gail to be a part of the third act, and unfortunately they weren't. I especially wanted Gail to be a part of it. I was hoping someone was going to show up and help Sydney and Tatum. Not like they need it. There's 2 of them already there. It's just as it was from a storytelling standpoint, I'm like, oh, I want them to come back. Like, where are they? They've been gone for like 25 minutes of this movie, 30 minutes of this movie, you know? Oh, you're talking Scream 6 trailer. Oh, it was so funny. Funniest thing I've seen in the whole franchise from Scream, or from Scary Movie. Like, it is, that trailer is funnier than all of the movies combined. Camp is the best thing in You season 5, which I didn't love. Oh, yeah. No frame of reference for her, but felt a little stiff in the first 2/3 of the movie, and then once we really got the goods, I think she delivered. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that, bud. Really appreciate you. Guys, I know I keep on falling behind. I'm loquacious. I'm verbose. I talk a lot. I admit it. So I'm going to jump to the bottom of the chat here after this. Jamie just dropping a $5 super chat to say to support the show. That is amazing, Jamie. Thank you so much. I appreciate that more than you know, guys. This is, you know, it's a passion project for me. It's a labor of love and all that stuff. And I do it because I love film and I love talking about movies and, you know, particularly horror. I mean, I'm a huge film fan, but horror is like, you know, one of my, horror and comedy are my favorite with films. And I got into this because this is the experience I wanted, was hanging out with a bunch of people, being nerdy and talking about the possibilities and analyzing film, and, you know, you guys saying things that open up windows of perception for me, and vice versa, right? If I could say one little thing about a movie that makes you go, oh, or the next time you watch the movie, you're like, that's the thing Davey was talking about. Because I've done that. Like, I've heard other people say things, or maybe you guys have said something in the chat, and then I watch something and I'm like, I gain this appreciation for something that I just, like, maybe it went over my head. Maybe I wasn't like seeing it the right way, you know? Because I don't know, there's something about, like, you know, film is literature, right? So I think it's really fun to break it down. It's just you know, we think of literature as like books, right? When you hear the word lit, that's what you think of. But, you know, it's just like visual storytelling is just an extension of all of that. So I love getting nerdy with it. Thank you so much for the $5, Jamie. I really do appreciate it so very much. And Jamie, I believe, are you a channel member as well? Because I know there's a Jamie that just became a channel member. I can't, when you have a super chat, it won't show me if you're a channel member or not. It just shows me the super chat. So I apologize if I missed you on that one, Jamie, but thank you so very much for hanging out with us, and thank you for supporting the channel. I mean, I'm just saying, technically, yeah, A Nightmare in Elm Space. I love that. We have liftoff, bitch. Guys, throw out your, let's, Freddy in space. I want to hear your blank, 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 bitch line that Freddy could use in space. Give me all you got. Maybe you're a total, like, NASA nerd. I want to hear something funny. We got M from Horror joining us, guys. M is an amazing voice in horror. I mean that literally, and, you know, what she has to say. I love her voice in this horror YouTube space, and here she is. Here is M. I'm actually going to be on M's channel tomorrow, so if you guys want to join in on more Scream 7 talk, I know this is like the weekend where we just can't get enough. So I don't even think they're like oversaturation at this point. I don't even think that's a thing right now. But M says, I'm not a fan of the Matthew Lillard performance, probably the AI aspect of it. Yeah. And performances are something that are it's such a taste thing, right? It's like, it either resonates with you or it doesn't. I'm not saying that this is the case with you, but I think in general, it can be difficult to quantify those things sometimes, to say that if something feels off on a performance, sometimes it can be difficult to articulate exactly why. And most of the performance works for me here, but the AI aspect overall, that in my non-spoiler review, I mentioned something about an effect that was used that I thought could have been implemented better, to have a better production value. Because I think it's, oddly enough, they made the AI so clean that I think it brings down the production value, even though it looks better. But AI doesn't look better, or like Matthew Lillard in front of a building on his phone is exactly what it looks like. It doesn't look like there was trickeration, and I wanted some of that trickeration in there. And I know trickeration isn't a real word. I think it's funny. But yeah, I totally hear you. I hope that through time, and maybe as you watch the movie more, I hope that you can find some more enjoyment, at least from the performance. But yeah, it's I certainly liked him more in this than I did in the Five Nights at Freddy's movies. I think he was given more license as a performer. I'll say that. Okay, what do we got here? What do we got? M is closing in. Guys, that's a good point. M is at like less than 200 away, I think, from 2K subs. She is fucking hot on my heels, guys. I'm gonna, just let you know. But if you're not subscribed, you got to go over there and subscribe. Like, amazing voice, amazing perspective, the insight. M is somebody that is like a really, like, a fan that's got their grip on what is potentially more realistic to happen in these things. So she's got the fandom side and that passion, but I think she's got such a well-measured way of looking at things. If you like what I'm doing over here and you're not subscribed over there, you absolutely should go over there and throw her a sub. Raven MC says, it's a new direction. It isn't toxic fandom for movies. It's toxic celebrity fandom. They adore Sydney, not the movies. Yeah, it is. Essentially what happened here is that Jessica, to part of her psychosis, to make her feel that she's justified in what she did to her husband, she needs to know that Sydney is out there and ready to kill Ghostfaces, and hopefully doing it every few years, just as a little bit of a check-in. So yeah, there is a motive there, and it's just more random than we're used to in a Scream movie, but I really like that about the motive. I'm ready to not have, I don't need any more Ghostfaces that are related to anyone or tied to anything. Like, I'm all for the random now. We've had enough of the related and tied to kind of thing. Matthew Lillard was being a stew I was here for, to be honest. I actually wanted him to be alive after seeing that. Call me crazy. Until the last mask was pulled off, I thought it was still possible that he was there. Let's see here. What else do we got? Nothing burps better than bacon. What is that from? What am I'm missing something. I'm missing something there, Carrie. What is that from? Yeah, no glasses either. It was weird, threw me off. Roman, no glasses. Granted, he doesn't have glasses in the third act of the Scream 3, but it's because he was wearing the mask, right? But he wears glasses the whole rest of the time. It was odd. I don't think I'll ever get over David Arquette Hitler haircut. Like, it's not Dewey. Stop it. It's not Dewey. Let's see what else we got. I'm right there with you, Em. I think there's some disingenuous people that are purposely not understanding. This doesn't make sense, so it's bad. I don't know. I think you might be tipping your hand a little bit on that. Either you're being disingenuous, or you maybe need to watch it again. I mean, I didn't catch everything the first time. Maybe you need to watch it again. Maybe you need to pay a little more attention or have a, more of an analytical kind of mind when you watch a movie like these. I don't know. And then I do think that there are people that are like they either felt attacked that Stu wasn't alive or some of the things that were said about it. But I don't think it was disrespectful. I really don't think that the Stu stuff was handled in a disrespectful way. And I think that sometimes we have a tendency to take things personally when they're not really personal. That might be the case. But I'm very much looking forward to, some of my good content creator buddies didn't enjoy the film. I'm looking forward to talking to them about it because I want to hear a little bit more of what they got to say. And I want to be able to have that, open dialogue and discussion. I think that's like a really good way we can kind of like learn from each other or, gain more perspective and all that kind of stuff. In our, crazy society we've got, it seems like people are having a tougher and tougher time having conversations. Even conversations about things that are relatively meaningless, like what films mean or if a movie was good. We need to at least be able to talk about these things with nuance and with understanding and in a respectful nature. And then maybe from there we can start talking about more complicated stuff in a nicer way to each other. Although I'm not holding my breath for that one. Well, yeah, the cops. Yes. So that's another thing. Kenneth brings up, he's got some good point. Got a good point here. The police are not very good in this movie. They don't check the attic. That's Black Christmas 101. Check the attic. Is it sweeping the house if you don't check the attic? Does it count as sweeping the house? And then I love that the one deputy is like, we'll be real quick, chief. If I'm Joel McHale, I'm like, no, be thorough. Don't be quick. In fact, I need you in my house until my wife and daughter are safely out of the house. We're all going to be in this house. So one of you upstairs, one of you downstairs, radio's on. And then, of course, the cops adhering to the curfew instead of patrolling this tiny town of Pine Grove. So, yeah, the cops forgot about Mark. Sydney's tried to call him, but she's dealing with, an emergency that's literally right in her face and her daughter's life or death. So I'm sure she's concerned about her husband, but he is the chief of police and she knows that her daughter is right there in front of Ghostface. And so she's going to be more focused on that. Yeah, I thought that for a second too. And I'm glad it didn't work out that way. And hopefully they don't retcon that because I really love the relationship that Sydney and Mark have. And I liked the chemistry that the performers had. I liked how he was supportive of his wife and supportive of his daughter when he felt like that person deserved the support or this person deserved the support. I really like that. That's I can only imagine, but it's got to be a tough spot to be in. And I thought it was written well, and I thought it was performed well, and I thought it felt natural and real. And, some people probably don't feel that way, and that's okay too. Lizzie says, I've been officially shamed off the Stu train. I really am not trying to be a jerk about it, guys. And I hope that, what was it, Diamond Python that was in here? Diamond, if you're still in here, thank you for hanging out. Maybe I got a little hot about that, but I know I know this is going to be a way bigger part of the discussion than I think it should be as far as like, is Stu still alive? He's dead. Stupid question. What now to go to cinema? $10? Probably. I don't even know. I have A-list, Melissa. So I can see 4 movies a week and it costs me $26 a month, but I can go see 4 a week if I want to. So if I see 2 in a month, it pays for itself because I think movies are about 14 or 15 bucks, like for most showings after tax, something like that. 14. Second viewing, the cry laughing. I saw, scary movies. What about when Carl gets hit though? And it's like, Wendy, I can fly. Yeah. The hate, politics, and grudges. Yeah, it is pretty pathetic. And that's not, obviously it's not everybody. I think there are people that are, some people are articulating why they don't like the movie. Other people are just doing the mic drop like, oh, it's trash. It's like not everything's a mic drop, y'all. If you can't say at least one reason why, I don't even know if I should pay attention to what you have to say. Like, if you can't back it up, then do you even believe it? Do you even have the courage of your own conviction? Can you articulate or quantify why something worked or didn't work? Those are the important things for us. And it's not even just like, yeah, critics should absolutely be able to do that. But I think like casual fans, we should still be able to do that. You should still be able to like kind of say why something worked for you or not. And that's why I always say on the channel, I know we got a lot of new people in here. By the way, for new people, thank you so much for kicking it. You're hanging out with the Death Squad, best group in horror YouTube right here. Subscribe, like, all that fun stuff. But one thing I say is, what was I saying? I was saying something about, oh yeah, all opinions are absolutely welcome as far as like how you feel about these movies. It's just movies that we're talking about, inconsequential. What I'm really interested in is the why. If you can tell me why, that's where it gets fun. Like that's where we can really talk. So, and plenty of you guys do that. I'm just saying, like, I've seen it out there where people aren't really doing that, which is fair. That's their own, it's their own deal. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I don't even know what Lovebirds is. I've never even heard of that. I never even heard of Anna Camp until she was announced for Scream 7. That is how out of touch I am. How about it? Kevin's writing is what made the movie. His directing could have been a little better, but it's his first film. Yeah. Well, second, technically, it's his first in like, what, Teaching Mrs. Tingle came out in like 2000 or 01. It's been like 25 or 26 years. So kind of like his first movie. Yeah, and I think that, so sometimes the camera stuff, the director works with the cinematographer, the DP on all that. Sometimes they don't. It sort of depends on what the director's strengths are. But absolutely the acting is on the director. And I think, when you look at the acting in this movie, I would say Kevin actually did a great job. There were a couple shots that I think could have been better as far as the cinematography standpoint goes, but I'm going to give Kevin plenty of credit on the acting because he got really great performances from the actors and all the actors that showed up. I think did a really good job. And yeah, the writing. I mean, the writing absolutely makes the movies. These movies are always better when Kevin's there, for sure. He's the only one that holds. He's the only one that knows where true north is in this franchise. Other people can grab a compass and it just kind of wavers a little bit back and forth. Kevin is the only one that, like, in his heart knows where true north is, and I absolutely trust him. I trust Kevin Williamson with Scream the same way that I trust Sam Raimi and Rob Tappert and Bruce Campbell to hire the right people to make Evil Dead movies. In the same way I trust that when John Carpenter gets involved with a Halloween project, that it's going to be, most likely it's going to be good, or I'm going to like it because John is a picky motherfucker and protective over this franchise that his, that made him what he is, So I'm right there with Kevin as far as Scream goes. He is that for me. Yeah. I don't know did he direct Sick? I think he wrote Sick. I don't know that he directed it. I think it's his first one since Teaching Mrs. Tingle. I think so. It's true. You guys have been so amazing. I can't even keep up. That is the power of Scream, guys, is it gives us so much to talk about. We can't stop talking about it. Oh, Deadpool is a lot of fun at the theater. Yeah. Well, I barely went to the theater until I got A-list, but I got A-list, Melissa, last April. And last year I saw 49 movies in the theater. Some of them I went and saw twice. So I probably went to like 55, 56 showings in the theater last year. And that's just from April on. Kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. We got Carrot Sticks jumping on in. Carrot Sticks was hanging out the other night. What's happening? Welcome back. Says, I think the movie struggles the most because of the stylistic writing differences between Guy Busick and Kevin Williamson. Neither are wrong, but they definitely clash when put together. I would be so curious to see what was like the original script compared to this one. I don't know. Lito, if you're still in the chat, I don't know if you know this. What percentage of the script had to be changed or impacted by Kevin's contribution for him to earn a credit I don't know what that is. I don't know how they quantify those things, but it is my understanding, and I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's my understanding that those things have to be submitted to the Writers Guild, and the Writers Guild has to see that enough of a contribution has been made in order to award a credit. It's one of the reasons why Edward Norton doesn't have a credit for the Incredible Hulk movie that he was in, even though by all accounts he says he rewrote the whole last act of that movie. But you know, when they reviewed it, they found that there wasn't enough of a contribution to give him a credit. So I know that's a thing. I would be curious to know just what was Guy's and what was Kevin's. I feel a lot of Kevin in this movie. I really do. To me, it feels like it fits the first 4 movies more than it does 5 and 6. So I'm thinking that what Kevin did is took Guy's basic idea, probably changed some of the skeletal structure of the story to fit the trajectory that he wanted for the storyline's path and the dynamics of it all. And then I think he punched up a lot of the dialogue. So yeah, maybe some of the dialogue is Guy's. There, you know, I can certainly feel that some of that stuff isn't quite Kevin, but man, there's a lot of dialogue where I'm like, that's Kevin. That's gotta be Kevin. You know, the Gale lines as she's like walking off, she's walking like out of frame and saying some sort of one-liner with an F-bomb. Though, like that to me has gotta be Kevin. Like when Gale tells Robbie, fuck the fuck off. Dude, that cracks me up. Yeah, like that, all that stuff feels like Kevin. Thank you so much for kicking it with us, man. Appreciate it. And when I say man, I just mean man as a general term. So I guess I should say something like bud or pal. Although bud, like some pal sometimes feels condescending to me. I don't know. I am neither going to confirm nor deny these reports. But other people can, yeah. I mean, if you're hanging out in this chat, just know that some stuff could be spoiled for you. Just made it in. Jason's 3rd time watching Scream 7. Welcome on in, Jason, one of our great channel members. What did you think after your 3rd time? I liked it a lot more after my 2nd time. Oh, nice. I've heard, I got to check out because I know I watch a bunch of stuff on streaming or, you know, on YouTube, guys. And I watch a couple gamers. One Coin Only is a gamer that I really like his streams. He's an Aussie. I dig his stuff, and he's been playing Resi Requiem, right? What's funny is there are some people sort of critiquing Kevin's directing, but I thought he was much closer in tone and pacing to Wes than Radio Silence ever was. Not as interesting visually, but yeah, I think I thought about it, but that fight scene in the Evans house, you know, where like Sydney's throwing knees to the gut and like that close quarters combat, I thought that looked really good. It was well choreographed. I thought it was really well shot. Mark and Ghostface going at it felt very visceral. The tackling, like the body checking, whatever you want to call it, like all of that stuff, I was like, man, this is like intense and more prolonged than fights that we normally see with Ghostface. And I really liked that. The physicality was there. Especially when it was Carl behind the mask in that first third of the movie, the physicality was there in a way where I was like, man, this is fucking fighting in the front lawn, like tackling each other and punching each other in the front lawn. Like this is epic. Like I actually really dug that. And it was a cool way to just show that, yes, Mark is a very capable guy. He doesn't just look really good in a uniform because his torso, his chest and tummy are totally flat, but he's very capable, you know. But yeah, I think I see what you're saying, Lido. I do think it felt more like a Wes directed movie for sure. I'm sure he learned a lot from Wes being there. If you guys have seen those set photos, I don't know how normal it is for the writer of a movie to be on set throughout production. Maybe it's a thing. But I know at some point Kevin was also like executive or, you know, one of the producers. So he's probably there even more. But even like from early on, you see a lot of those behind the scenes pictures. Kevin's right there next to Wes or talking to the actors, you know, like it was you know, even though Wes is the director, I get the impression from some of those behind the scenes pictures that Kevin was helping as far as like getting performers to understand their characters and all that kind of stuff. You know, maybe I'm talking out of my ass. It just I would imagine with him doing that and being right next to Wes that he's probably picking up on a lot, you know. You're too sweet, Em. I love you too. I mean, I struggle sometimes to, you know, when I'm sitting there, like, because I'm like, oh, she's in the chat, so now I'm getting nervous as I'm just trying to say nice things about her, and then it seems like I'm fumbling over my words, but it's just because I respect what you do, and I look up to you, Em. I really do. The longevity of Scream might be in variety, says Aaron Click. We need more of that then, huh? I'd like to see some entries of Kirby, some with Martha Meek, Sam, Tara Sidney, and some without. Keep it fresh. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, bringing Sam and Tara back, even though I don't think Tara's a really well-written character, like, it doesn't mean that they can't, like, they should be able to do it better at some point. So I think we're going to see those characters back somewhere down the line. Might be 5 or 10 years. It might be sooner than that. I don't know. Like, none of us really know. But yeah, I want to see things shook up more. And they could still do a cliffhanger. They could still do some of those things. All that. Davey, also don't want you to forget, thank you for all the kind words, brother. I miss you as well. You guys are too sweet. Too sweet. I can't not, you know, when I'm sitting here with a captive audience, I can't not say nice things about my homies. It was obvious that it would be Ethan behind the mask because it was planned for him to play Ghostface in the original as Stu. Okay, I thought he tried out for Billy for some reason. I read something about that. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And it all makes sense. I've, you know, after seeing that he wasn't in the previews, I was like, I think my prediction in one of those breakdowns was that I didn't know if he would be literally be a Ghostface, but I was like, I have the feeling that he like lets somebody out. He helps somebody break out of this, you know, psychiatric hospital. So he's involved at least in some regard. And he did that and then some. Hate how people are comparing this to Scooby-Doo because I love Scooby-Doo and I would have been fine if the killer was Old Man Jenkins. Yeah, they're kind of like Scooby-Doo. A little more, like 5 and 6 are a little more Scooby-Doo-ish because they're so silly once the reveal happens. All right, let's see what we got. Down is up, hanging out. Says, enjoy your tang. Oh, enjoy your tang, bitch. That's how far off I am. Wow. Jamie says, off topic, but what other movies are you excited about that you plan to cover? Guys, I got to hop off here probably in the next 8 minutes. I've got to shoot some stuff today because I want to cover the Faces of Death trailer. There's actually 2 trailers. YouTube yanked one of them off really quick, and I don't really know why, but I found it. And I think if I watch it slow-mo and cover it on the channel, maybe YouTube won't hate me for it. So we'll see. Interested in Faces of Death, especially after the second trailer that we got to where it's like, oh, they're mixing in like a standard narrative with this idea of this meta idea of Faces of Death. Faces of Death is this thing that exists in this world, but there's also the serial killer that looks to be inspired by the blah, blah, blahs. So I'm interested in that one coming out like April 10th. Ready or Not 2. They Will Kill You. I'm interested in those as well. Hokum. I'm very interested in that. I mean, my biggest one, Jamie, is Evil Dead Burn because Evil Dead is my favorite horror franchise. So that's the big one for me is Evil Dead Burn. Very, very pumped for that one. But yeah, Jamie, just, you know, you asked the question. I know you're relatively new here. I cover a lot of horror movie news on the channel. So, you know, if I think you guys would be interested in it or it's something that I find interesting, I'm going to cover it. So the Scream stuff's been covered. The Friday the 13th shit, all the Jason stuff, the Camp Crystal Lake show, all of that's going to be covered. And if there's something that I'm missing that you guys want me to cover, feel free to reach out or jump into the comments and let me know a movie that you want to see more about, and we'll get it going because the channel's nothing without an audience. So I need to know what you guys, I need to know if I'm missing something that you guys want. I'm not going to find out unless you tell me. So there you go. At the end of the movie, there wasn't anyone left really. So it was, yeah, exactly. That's why they need to keep, yeah, just a couple of those guys around. I just might be, but it's not in a Jessica kind of way. Oh, not in a Jessica kind of way. Okay, guys, I'm going to catch up here. Let's see here. I'm just so far behind. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. I'm grabbing Ben's chat because I see it pop up here, and he's a channel member. I want to make sure I grab that. Ben, welcome on in, bud. He says, Anna Camp was incredible in the Bruce Campbell show Hysteria, criminally understated from a few years ago. You know what? Okay, so I did see her in something because I saw the first... gosh, did I see that whole thing? It was like a mini series, wasn't it? I feel like I saw at least a couple episodes, and I was digging it. I don't know if I didn't finish it. I don't know why. I guess I got to go back and check it out. It was a Peacock thing, right? Like a Satanic Panic thing. Okay, so I've seen her in something. I have. I totally had forgotten. All right. There you go. Yeah. I'm so happy that this new movie didn't get too... I feel like it didn't get political at all. I love that. Like, I felt like Scream 5 tried to get political and slipped quite a bit. Jan Ash says, one heart eye, just a stranger doing work for two, but gets off unmasked. One heart eye, just a stranger doing... One heart eye. What does one heart eye mean, Jan? I need to know. Yeah, what did you guys think about one Ghostface only making it about a third of the way through? Kind of crazy. Okay, I think I saw Lido might have addressed something that I asked directly of him. Let's see if I can find that. Or maybe I'm not quite there yet. Lido, if I missed your response, I'm sorry. Let's see here. Just trying to catch up, guys. Trying to catch up. I swear the dead air is purposeful here. M asks, do you guys think people are also forgetting the movie is likely nodding to Scream 3 like 5 and 6 did with 1 and 2? Yeah, I'm trying to, like, because that was the thing, right? Is it, so it, like, do you mean that it's a nodding to Scream? How do you mean, Em? Because I'm curious to see what you've got to say about how it nods to Scream 3. I'm trying to think, other than showing Roman, obviously. Is it like kind of the freshness of where it's coming from? Like it's like a new trilogy rules kind of thing. And I get this, the superhuman aspect, I guess, you know, Ghostface did feel really intimidating to me. Like when he's walking around downtown and I'm thinking this could be Stu. Yeah, just, it was pretty intimidating for sure. Okay, so Lido addresses that here. According to what I've heard, Kevin basically did an entire rewrite of Guy's initial final draft. Okay, so Guy gets credit because the DNA is still technically there and he wrote the first one. But Vanderbilt, didn't Guy and James Vanderbilt both have credit? And then after Kevin did his thing, I saw James Vanderbilt's name out of there. So that to me is curious, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's story by Guy Busick and James Vanderbilt. I can't remember. Yeah. It's fascinating. Yeah. I mean, a lot of the dialogue just felt so quippy and just so spot on. That's such a fine-tuned kind of thing, you know? It's like when they did 5 and 6, it's like when a famous band replaces their singer with somebody that's like kind of sounds like the singer. They're just not the singer. So it's like the songs are still good. It's like once Scott Weiland left Stone Temple Pilots, like I still love the songs, but no one's gonna beat Scott as far as a vocalist for that band. You can try, you ain't gonna do it though. That's just one example. I'm a big Stone Temple Pilots guy, so what can you do? Thank you for talking to everybody and not just playing Resident Evil 9. It looked, you know, I love Leon as a character. I'm interested in watching other people play it for sure. And if you guys like watching gamers, one coin only. I dig him. What's happening, Jeff? We got Jeff from John Doe Juggalo in the chat. Jeff, what did you think of Scream 7? I'm curious. And guys, Jeff's got a channel. Physical media collectors, you're going to want to check it out. Like Jeff, I love Jeff's. What I like about Jeff's channel is it's a very like what you see, what you get. Not a bunch of frills, not a bunch of extra stuff. It's just a guy that's passionate about film and music and video games and collecting collecting physical media, collecting physical media. And Jeff's voice, he's got, I'm like this, bouncy. And Jeff's got this really cool, calm demeanor. Anytime I watch one of his videos, it just chills me right the fuck out. I love it. Love his voice. If Scream fans were honest, was Scream 7 even mid? Yeah, I would say it's right outside of my top 3, Kenny. And my top 3 are 1, 4, and 2. And I would say Scream 7 is my, as of right now, would be right outside of that, like, top tier, you know, top 3. So yeah, that's my honest thoughts on it for sure. It would have been funny if they did bring that back. Oh, I know what you mean now, Em. Yeah, the AI stuff is like the voice change. I swear my brain is turned on, guys. Em is probably like, wow, Davey's my biggest fan and he's dumb. Maybe a little bit. He might be a little bit. Yeah. He's one of those guys that as he's gotten older, I think he's turned on the hot factor more. Yeah. Yeah. It was really good. And I don't need it. Like, I never would want it to get to John Wick territory. I want it to still feel real. And, man, I'm trying to think of another Scream movie that has like real choreographed, like legit fight scenes. And the way they did it, the prolonged amount that they did it, yeah, good stuff. It would have been nice if the 2 deputies hung out in the Evans house, right? The movie probably would have played out a little differently though. He was. Yeah. I think Mark's a really good character. I want more. I want more Sydney and Mark in the next movie. So I'll tell you guys really quick, because the whole stream was supposed to be about where do we go from here in Scream 8. I would like to see Isabel May take like the lead. I want more chaos. People just seeking fame. People just wanting to be talked about. People just wanting to be known to be the ones that took out one of the Prescott/Evans family. You know, any of them. So they're all kind of targeted, but I want to see Isabel May as Tatum. You know, she's pretty capable in this movie without really having any background. I want to see her capability take up a notch. You know, her and Sydney go to target practice together or whatever. We don't need to see that or anything, but there could be some mother-daughter bonding as far as like, let's fucking teach you how to be a badass kind of thing. And even if Sydney and Mark aren't mains in Scream 8, I'd still like to see them there. You know, I'd still like them to be represented on camera. But ultimately, I just want some freshness. And still want that cliffhanger. Give me that cliffhanger. Maybe a Maureen Prescott flashback. Come on, yo. Let's see here. A lot better than the radio silence, hands down, says Asha. He got the tension right, like in Scream 2. Yes, the tension felt like a Scream 2 tension. I really dug that. Yeah, for sure. Ghostface being out and pursuing people in open spaces during a curfew, very Scream 2. Yep, absolutely. It worked out. It did work out. I wouldn't have been against Kincaid being in there. I think Dempsey is good and plays Kincaid well. But now that I know what we've got in Mark Evans, I'm very happy with what we got, for sure. Fight choreography felt more natural and real than we've seen in Scream, at least for a long time. Yeah, because we've seen a lot, like what Tatum does in the coffee shop is what we've seen a lot, right? Like you push a chair, throw something at Ghostface, like just your kind of standard, like somebody that's not trained to fight and fighting for their lives in a situation that they never thought they'd find themselves in, right? Like, how would I handle it? Like, I've never trained. Like, it would be embarrassing. I would throw something at them and I'd probably die in like 15 seconds or something like that. I would be like Lucas when he's like, I'm going to handle this. And dude, Lucas, y'all should have just left. Okay. The exit that's at the curve of the bar that Ghostface uses to fake out Chloe. How come Chad and Mindy couldn't find that? How come Chloe didn't just tell Lucas, no, we're getting out of here. There's a door right there. My parents own this restaurant. I know the doors that lock automatically behind us that are fire exit doors, because businesses have those. You have to be able to push the bar on the door open there has to be a mechanism to allow you out even if the door is locked, right? That's just like a standard business, standard practice for safety in buildings. I know I'm getting really, really into it, but I'm like, if Mindy wants to replace Gail, maybe her perception and investigative skills could use a little sharpening on that one. And Chloe should have just grabbed Lucas and been like, no, we're getting the fuck out, dude. Like, what are you going to do in there? 17-year-old boy, although he's built, what can you do? But yeah, it is the most natural it's the most natural and the most like you're saying, natural and real. It felt like a legitimate fight scene. I think so. Yeah. Sometimes I think formulaically it's too consistent, but I'll take all the consistency on quality. I'll take for sure, Kenny. And Kenny, by the way, you appear to be a newbie. Thank you so much for joining us. You're kicking it with the Death Squad. These people are amazing. This is, I'm just going to say it, no slight against anyone else. I just think horror YouTube is amazing. Like, the whole community is awesome. And I love these people in our little corner. And whether I'm on the stream talking to them this way, or I'm in the chat with you guys on somebody else's stream, I love hanging out with y'all. So welcome on in, Kenny. Yeah, we are a bunch of nerds. What do they say in the IT crowd? Genuine nerds. Love it. Yeah, I think so too. I really dig it. I'm cool with bringing back Kirby. Yeah, and I would like to have her be a lot more meaningful than she was in 6. I think she's a great character. Yeah, and Hayden Panettiere's really good. Some of the work she had done makes her a little stiff, I think, in the face, but she's still good for sure. Yeah, that's what I would imagine for sure. He had to have been taking notes. I mean, Kevin Williamson, obviously, very smart guy. Like, we're talking genius level storytelling and business savvy, like to write Scream and also create Dawson's Creek. And those are, two things that have a very slim, like, Venn diagram shared qualities. But he is a fantastic creative mind. I'll say that. Yeah, bring back Kirby and make her Ghostface. See, I don't like that because there are certain characters that I just think would never cross that line. It would be a huge surprise if it were Kirby. I'm not saying it wouldn't be that. I just think, like, with the kind of person Kirby is and everything that she's been through, that she joined the FBI because she wanted to make sure that these sorts of things, that these sorts of people would be caught, right? So I don't really, the same thing as like having Gail be Ghostface. I'd have a really tough time accepting that. I would accept it more with Gail because she's so cutthroat about her career and everything. But we're way too far gone to have Gail be Ghostface at this point. Antonis Andriotis dropping on in. What's happening, Antonis? Great to see you. Hope you are doing well. One of our great channel members right there. And Antonis, the other night I got the line wrong. The very first thing that Ghostface says in Scream 7 is, "You're going to die tonight." It's the first thing he says. Yeah, the poster and then especially that trailer that showed the drawings. I was like, oh man, somebody let a patient out. So I don't know if it's Stu that was the patient that was let out, but there's somebody that's involved in this that's killing people, and someone in that hospital let him out. And the only person we know that works at the hospital is that dude with the receding hairline. They really did up his prosthetics. It's a very interesting look they gave him. Oh, Tia says, as someone that works in that field, I was tearing the psych ward scene apart. Well, yeah, I think he was suspicious to me. I mean, even before watching the movie, I was like, there's probably a 80% chance that he's involved somehow. And then as I'm watching the movie, I'm like, dude, this guy's worked at this place for 16 years. And he just says to them, like, it's against protocol, blah, 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 but I'll just go ahead and take you back. And I'm like, dude, no, like that doesn't jive. I don't know if that's one of the things that you were tearing apart, but I was like, it's sort of obvious that he wants control of this situation. So he lies to them about Stu being John Doe that was next to Carl when that was probably Jessica's room. It was like down the hall or whatever. And then all of a sudden he's like, you'd need a court order for this and that. But he's willing to like break protocol and just, you give them access that, people probably wouldn't have, or at least wouldn't have from some orderly. Like if Gail goes in there with the news, you think it would be like an administrator that would have to make that decision and like kind of supervise that sort of interaction. I don't know, Tia. You said you work in the field. Maybe you can help me understand exactly what you mean there. But yeah, it made me like fully suspicious that this guy is in on it for sure. Oh yeah, scary movie. And I wonder if they really are going to parody this one. It seems like they are certainly going to make their jokes about 5 and 6, which I'm all there for. Freddy, I'll send you to the moon, but not back, bitch. All right. Ooh, yeah, Obsession. I'm looking forward to Obsession. Big time Filippo brother vibes from that movie. I still need to see Milk and Cereal. I've heard it's just so good. I don't know why I haven't seen it. It's probably because found footage is not really my thing, but I'm warming up to it. And Backrooms, I watched some of the viral stuff and I don't really understand what was like. I mean, like conceptually, it was like very nightmarish and stuff like that. I'm just like, how do you turn this into a movie? It will be interesting to see. It's got a striking aesthetic for sure, Asha. And I need to watch. I haven't seen the new. I've seen like the old YouTube videos, some of those, but I haven't seen the trailer for. I think they just put out a trailer for the movie, so I haven't seen that. In a Violent Nature too. Here's what I'll say. Like first, In a Violent Nature kind of bored the hell out of me. It's a cool concept, but I think it could have just been a short film, like a 40-minute movie. Like it doesn't need a full-length movie of like following a guy, like a video game. No, like that's not my vibe. But in the trailer for the sequel, I'm like or the clip. I don't know if it's if it's a trailer or they're just saying it's a clip. It feels more like a trailer to me. I love how they're changing it up because I said, after seeing the first one, I was like, they can't just do the same exact thing. So we got like a way more of a raucous Friday the 13th 2 camp vibe, like a lot more people, some partying. It looks like the sequel is going to have a lot more personality. I don't think the first movie had like really any personality at all. Had a couple kills that were okay. I didn't think the yoga kill was as cool as everyone was saying. It didn't make sense to me. Like if somebody like literally pushed a hole through your entire stomach, I don't know how you're like just standing around, like probably just like fall over right then. But yeah, I'd say the sequel so far looks better than the original. Yeah. Join us. Dead by Dawn. Dead by Dawn. Guys, speaking of Evil Dead, tomorrow night, 8:30 Eastern, I am going to be on Chills and Thrills with Brett Mann from Good Real Hunting, Keelan from Killing the Credits, and Jamie Hart. We're going to watch Evil Dead. Oh my God, it's one of my favorite movies, guys. One of my favorite films of all time. I can't wait to watch it over there. If you're an Evil Dead fan, join us over on Chills and Thrills. I think even though, I don't know if we have any mods in here at the time, so I am going to drop a link for that. How about it? Guys, 193 subscribers. Can we get Chills and Thrills to 200 subscribers right now? Could you guys do that for me? Can you do that for me? And I can send Brett a text and let him know. And Brett and I seriously do text. It's not just DMs. A lot of people, it's just DMs, but Brett and I, we're a little bit closer. No, it's I don't know why. It's some random people. Sometimes you get their number, sometimes you don't. But if we can get Chills and Thrills to 200 subs, and that's just 7 of you guys jumping over there that haven't subbed already, obviously. So I dropped the link in the chat. And here's the cool thing about Chills and Thrills, guys. It's very simple what he's doing over there. I love it. It's not very murky. It's watch parties, horror watch parties, and they're thematically laid out throughout the year. And then the posts that you're going to see are going to be voting on what you want to see. Voting to let him know what you think of a movie going into it. So there's plenty of an engagement with the audience, and And Brett is just a down home good guy. You know, what can you say? I really like Keelan as well. I didn't mean to leave Keelan out of that. Keelan is one charming motherfucker. Okay, so there's the link for the actual stream, guys. That's going to be tomorrow night, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time out here in the US. And I'm going to drop the link for our stream tomorrow, guys. 2 p.m. Eastern out here in the States, 7 p.m. UK time. I will be guesting over on M's channel on Horror Her. I'm going to drop that link there as well. Yes. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't. I'm just was being a dummy about the AI thing. That's on me. That's on me, Em. I have no excuse. I feel free to kick me to the curb, honestly. I'll turn in my horror fandom card and, you know, just live to fight another day, hopefully. All right, let me catch up with where you guys are here. We got Destin from the Destination Station says, I'm playing Resident Evil 9. Dude, you're not the only. This is amazing. People are playing RE9 and listening to the silky smooth sounds of Davey Deathray. Hey, if I can be your radio program while you work or chore or game or whatever, then yeah, that'll do. That'll do, pig. That'll do. Let's see, what do we got going on? Sean's asking if he's going crazy. Rewatched 3 last night just to make sure I'm not a crazy person. Okay, what are you guys talking about? That played the score from 3. Yeah. Well, and they even bring, I can't remember, is it from the first movie, the Danny Elfman kind of female chorus chanting? Is that from the first one, or is that something he introduced later on? There's even a shot, guys, and this is for the nerdiest of the nerds. So this is for, M and Lito, and I'm sure other people here. I'm sure, Carrie is hip to this as well. When they go to that shot of the house and they do the upside down thing on the house to make it right side up, when they cut across the trees, I'm like, I swear I don't know if it's part 2 or which one it is. I'm like, that shot of the naked tree branches, like the late fall tree branches or whatever. I'm like, I swear we see something like that. And I'm like, is it 2 the one where, I don't know. It felt like a callback to another shot in one of the previous films, and I just can't quite pin it down. I'm trying to, but I can't quite pin it down. I need you guys to help me with that one. Oh yeah, Parker Posey in 3, so funny. Yeah, he probably it's a different arrangement, but same sheet music ish, just with new arrangement. Is that Sydney's Lament, the choral thing that I'm talking about? It might be. Professional Lube Job. That is an awesome screen name, dude. Professional Lube Job says, Screen 7 did not get me glued to the TV. It was cringe. Oh, and for me, I was engaged the whole time on that first viewing. Some of these things work for some of us, and then others, they don't quite. But I was very, very locked in for sure. And I'm trying to think of cringe stuff. I guess I could see some of the AI, that aspect being cringy. I think I'm guessing M, that's kind of, your feelings on the AI are leaning into that cringe territory, just, based on what I've seen you say about it. All right, we got Rob Dean. I had to pronounce the 3 N's, okay? Rob says, I think the general consensus is that we can all agree Scream 7 is no worse than the previous 2 movies. In fact, it's probably slightly better because it has more of that original Scream flavor. Yeah, I think easily it's in a franchise that only has 7 movies. I think it's right outside of that top tier. If you broke it into 3 tiers, I would say it's at the top of the second tier for me personally. And I have the feeling I am going, this movie to me, based on my experience having seen it a second time, I have the feeling I'm going to like this more and more as time goes on. So look out, guys. This could end up being a Halloween Ends situation. I enjoyed Halloween Ends so fucking much when I saw it in the theater. Didn't read any reviews, had no idea what other people were saying about it. Saw it on IMAX on opening night, and walked out thinking, I think that's the best one that David Gordon Green's done. And then I'm now at the point where I'm like, it's my favorite sequel in the Halloween franchise is Halloween Ends. And so, you know, a divisive movie, absolutely. Divisive for different reasons, I think, than Scream 7, but divisive nonetheless. And I just have this inkling that I am gonna want to carry this Scream 7 flag and hold it very high, because I feel like a lot of the vitriolic talk about it is coming from a not very honest place. I do think there's plenty of people that didn't like the movie and have legit reasons and have articulated those legit reasons. And then I think there's a pretty big group of people that they decided before they saw the movie that it wasn't going to be for them. You know, I can totally see that. Lube Job. Can I call you Lube? Would you feel differently about it if it looked more like filtery and AI and pixelated or grainy, or if there was something? Because that's kind of where I'm standing on the. I don't absolutely hate the AI calls, but I think it could have looked not so clean. I think that was my problem. It looks very sanitized, if that makes sense. 1327456, not bad. Yeah, I mean, I have 7 in the same spot right now, like smack dab in the middle, but it's a good middle to be in. It's a good franchise, right? So there you go. We got people dropping their rankings. I love it. Ash is going to drop his too. 1237456. Okay, very similar right there. Yeah. Oh, this is great. You guys are beautiful. This is why you're the best group on YouTube. This is why horror fans are the best group on YouTube. Everyone's just dropping their rankings. I don't even have to ask. I fucking love it. Guys, I want to tell you exactly what my ranking is. I want to think about it a little bit more. I've probably said too much because I want to drop an updated Scream ranking video. And I don't, if I tell all of you guys every little thing that I'm thinking about how I would switch it up, yeah, I want you to actually watch the video when it comes out. So there you go. M from Horrors dropping her ranking 1243756. All right, M, yours and mine are very close too. I mean, there's only 7 movies. We're probably going to see a lot of similarities. Sean showing some love here for Scream 7. 174. That's a good top 3, I think. 3256. Ooh, all right. So 2 is sort of like getting pushed to the back, right? I think at this point we need a prequel with a young Stu and Billy. But we already know. My problem with prequels, just in general, professional lube job, PLJ. Prequels, we already know how it all works out. Like we already like to have a flashback of Maureen's death could be interesting to put us in Sydney's shoes for that event, like to give us her perspective. I think would be an interesting little thing to do. You don't need to spend a lot of time on it, but I think it would be like an interesting thing for fans to see, because we've heard so much about it and we've talked about it, but we've never seen it. But we know how it all works out with Stu and Billy. And I don't know what kind of insight we would really get. And especially now that we know even more about Billy. So what we would see him like sneaking off and sleeping with Christine Carpenter. It would be like the Han Solo movie where it's like, this is how Han Solo got his gun. This is how Han Solo got his name. This is how Han Solo got his jacket. It's just like, like, is this what we're doing? This is just like, is anyone into, like, if I brought you guys into my house to hang out or whatever, my house, it's not even my house, but if I brought you guys into my living space and just explained to you where I got everything that I own, is that an interesting hangout? I don't think so, especially if you already knew everything I had going into it. So yeah, I'm not really a prequel kind of guy in general. They would have to be very creative with how they did it. Very creative. Yeah, but maybe, you know, you could do like the prequel that's like takes place in between two of these movies that already exist without going back before the first movie. That could be interesting, depending on what you do with it. You know, throw Kirby in there and kind of tell us where she's been or something like that. Linda dropping hers 1327465. Oh, that's a little different there. All right. There, it has been picking up. I think Scream 5 and 6 has really put things into perspective for a lot of people. For sure. A lot of people. I did really like Lucas too. I really liked all the teen characters. It would have been cool if one or two of them made it. But yeah, is it Ozzy Germain that plays Lucas? I thought he was really good. He reminds me of Cillian Murphy. Cillian Murphy. I don't know. I keep on calling him Cillian because in the States, guys, for you Brits, because this is a Brit stream, I keep on fucking it up, dude. Because we soft C. We do soft C for the most part, especially if it's the beginning of a word. Cell phone, cellophane. Trying to think of others. I guess we use a hard K sound as well. So Cillian Murphy, Ozzy Germain kind of looks like Cillian Murphy to me. They've got a similar, like Ozzy Germain's a little more built, you know, a little like bigger. Cillian Murphy's a pretty slender guy. I just mean like their faces are very, like if you told me Ozzy Germain was like Cillian Murphy's brother or something, like related somehow, I'd be like, yeah, I could totally see that. Very similar, like brows and lips, I would say. What's happening? We got Shay Rants in the house. How are you doing, Shay? Shay, are you joining us tomorrow over on Horror Hers channel? Are you joining? I believe you are. If not, I'm sorry. I hope I didn't bring it up and now it's a sore subject. Why didn't Chloe scream when Ghostface was stalking her? He clearly could see her. Being loud could have saved her. Yeah, it's true. It's true. And I always think too, like in that situation where you're in that standoff and you've got all that, you know, kitchen equipment between, I would start like pushing things off the tables. I would, she grabbed the meat tenderizer. There are a lot of other things you could grab. I don't know if you guys have worked in a pizza shop before. A lot of pizza shops have these things. It's this hook. It's a thinnish aluminum rod. And you can reach into the back of the oven and you can like pop bubbles and stuff with this hook. Granted, it's a thin, hollow aluminum rod, but you could still like stab somebody with it. That probably would be in the kitchen. But yeah, make a fucking ruckus. Push everything on the floor, make it difficult to run around and all that kind of stuff, and make it very obvious that somebody needs to come to your aid. And then that would help Chad not get stabbed. And Ghostface just lets Chad and Mindy live. He could have taken care of them, but didn't for some reason. I was worried that Chad was going to get like his neck snapped or stabbed in the neck after Ghostface pulls the knife out. Thank goodness they didn't do that because I love Chad. Richard George jumping on in, dropping his ranking 6'7". Did you do that just to get me to say 6'7"? I still don't know what 6'7" means. I still have no idea. I'm like so fucking in the dark about it. And I love that. That is a part of being out of touch that I actually enjoy. So Richard ranks, I'll say Scream 6, Scream 7, 5, 4, 1, 2, 3. That is a hot take ranking, bro. That's hot take right there. And I'm blown away that your top 2 are movies that are, that kind of the 2 movies that have like divided the fandom or whatever. But hey, man, all opinions are welcome here. I like seeing hot take rankings. I'm curious to know what about Scream 6 gets it at the top of your list. Because we all kind of analyze and quantify these things differently, right? When we think about it, we have different criteria. Like when I rank Halloween movies, the portrayal of Michael Myers is one of the most important parts to me. But for somebody else, it might be the kills. Like Richard, you might be like a kills guy, and you like seeing Ghostface with a fucking shotgun. For all I know, you know what I mean? I'm curious to know. It is. Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's why I don't want Stu to actually come back. I think what they did here is the perfect medium. Have your cake, eat it too. If you try to please everybody, you're pleasing nobody. And I think they kind of kicked that rule to the curb in this one. I feel like a lot of reasonable people will be totally okay with what we got from Scream 7. And then there are people that, either made the decision beforehand they weren't going to like it, or they needed certain things to meet. Like there are people that are like, I'm disappointed that it didn't do this one thing that I wanted. I hate to tell everyone, it is not about what we want. You know, that is not what movie making is about. It's not what storytelling is about. It's a collaborative, creative process, and some of us are going to get what we want. Some of us aren't. And no movie is going to give you everything you want. I don't think. No movie is going to really be perfect, except for Jaws. All right, let's see what we got. How have we all forgotten the Scream franchise exists in the same world as the Kevin Smith movies? Because Wes Craven and Jay and Silent Bob both. Yeah. Well, I mean, because Jay and Silent Bob exist in our world, and Scream does as well. You know, technically speaking, Scream exists in our world. That's like the whole part of the meta thing. So I don't think Scream fans have forgotten it because of the crossover from those two movies that are pretty, apparent. I think that's one of the better Kevin Smith movies too. I like his sillier stuff more than the serious stuff. So I'm more of a Mallrats and Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back kind of guy. You guys notice that they in the Mocker house at the beginning of the movie, they still had all those VHS tapes like they did from Scream. And I know they scanned by it really quick, but I'm like, oh, there's the Mallrats VHS. Like, I love that. Cause I think it was Clerks in Scream. And then they did Mallrats in the museum or whatever, which I thought was kind of cute. Dude, losing Dewey was tough. It had to happen at some point. I'm bummed that it happened the way that it did. Yeah. Bring back Scream to a Scream movie. I think this one did that. Maybe your opinion, if you give it a couple more watches, maybe some of the opinion will change. I know, I mean, it's tough to get over that AI hump, but I think there's so much good in this movie. We don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. It is absolutely okay, guys, to say that you like a movie or that you love a movie or love a franchise or love an actor's performance or whatever. It's absolutely okay to say that and to have criticism. Like, yeah, we need that. Like, totally fair. It's your time. It's your money that you're spending, like, watching and consuming this media. You absolutely are well within your right to, have your criticisms and still be a fan. Doesn't mean you're not a fan. But I've met people that have there's a cognitive dissonance going on because I have had conversations with people where we're both fans of something and I criticize one thing about it while saying that I love the thing. And then they literally would ask me why are you hating on it? And I'm just like, look, I think Buffy the Vampire Slayer is a great fucking show, but when she's in college, it's like kind of meandering and a waste. I think Riley's like not a good boyfriend character. And I don't know why Buffy always has to have a boyfriend in the series other than to just like, they just want the audience to always see that she's got somebody with her. I still love the show. I just think that those things are like, they don't need to be that way. Still love the show. So like you can still, if maybe you watch Scream 7 a few more times, who knows? You might be like, okay, still don't like the AI, but the other stuff's working for me. Could happen. Rob Dean's going to say 1457362. Very interesting to see 2 so far back in some of these rankings. But I love that 1-4 combo. That's where I'm at, Rob. Those are my top 2 for sure. I'll give that away here. All right, Carrie's got the golden question for everyone. Did we notice the Easter egg in Scream 7 in Carl's room at Fallbrook? The Tori Spelling picture? Is that what it is? Is that what you're talking about? Because I know the drawings and all that stuff. I don't know if I noticed anything else. I guess I'll have to go back and watch it a third time. Yeah, so are you talking about the beer tap kill? Is that the one that was bugging? I did like some of, obviously they do the stuff with the guy at the beginning when he gets stabbed in the temple and his eye does that roll, and then they kind of did the eye thing again with Lucas. I thought that was like a cool little effect to do. But yeah, I mean, I think like the beer tap kill for me, like I like it in concept. Once the blood beer starts coming out of the mouth. I thought it looked, a little, could have looked better. But the first part of it, the part that kind of reminded me of Terrifier or whatever, Dawn of the Dead 04, when they push the croquet, the broken croquet mallet or whatever you want to call it through the zombie's head like that, kind of reminded me of that. I'm guessing that's what you're talking about, because I think all the other ones, like, you know, like the guts spilling all over the stage, I thought that was pretty good. Did you guys notice, so Madison at the very beginning, I didn't notice this until the second time, that she outright says when they talk about Amber dying, she's like, oh, she got toasted. Like, I'd hate to die that way. And I was like, oh, fuck, that's how she gets burned. She's still kind of alive. She gets burned alive. That's a cute little joke. Ghostface was paying attention. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, followed very distantly by 5, and even further by 6. I like that you literally created a separation in your sentence. I think that's pretty awesome. Yeah, it's a good list. Okay, guys, I've been talking for 2.5 hours. I can't believe it. That's pretty wild. I'm gonna have to put a cap on it. Gotta save my voice. I gotta work on some other stuff for the channel. But you guys have been so incredibly supportive and everything that even though we didn't reach that super chat goal within that amount of time, you guys definitely threw plenty of love my way to justify going on and on. And we need, maybe after Stranger Things was coming out, like season 5 was coming out, I did these group therapy sessions. And I kind of like, I might call these sorts of streams that kind of thing, like a highly anticipated movie comes out, we know or a TV show, we know that a lot of us like have got a lot to say, and we want to, spill the tea and talk about everything. We can kind of do this sort of setup. I love doing this kind of thing with you guys. Being a content creator and sharing my passion for film and everything, and horror film on YouTube is awesome. Mostly because I get to interact with you guys so damn much. So before I head out, I just do want to shine a light on the folks that are channel members, people that dropped super chats, all that stuff. Guys, I do want to let you know, like Aaron here with his membership for 8 months. If you've been a channel member, you get these membership chats. They're really cool. You could do something as simple as that. It just shares how long you've been a member, and that's that. And a lot of times you can actually send in your own little special message along with it. So thank you so much, Aaron, for being a channel member. Johnny Keene dropped a 5-pounder, followed by a 2-pounder. Aaron drops a 2-bucker. Thank you so much. Emoji Matt with a $4.99. Appreciate you, Matt. Gina, aka My Chunky Jordy, has been a member for 18 months. Holy cow. And she's reminding everyone to hit that like button. Please do. Gorehound Gazette dropped a 5-er. Thank you so very much. Lido dropped a $4.99. CM Hardra, I believe it's Chris, dropped a $5. Thank you so much. $2 from Jigsaw, $5 from Jamie, 2 from Tia, and I guess I missed both of these last 2. So Tia, me during Scream 7, are we Star Wars now? Fandom is a crazy thing, Tia. It is. I hope not. Especially with Kevin back at the helm. I think the tough thing with Star Wars is it's changed hands so many times. It's so far from George Lucas now. It's so far out of hand. Like, if he bought it back, I think that would be the most punk rock thing, because Disney's losing money. So he can actually buy it back at a discount. And then he could put out whatever he wanted, and it would be more successful than Disney just because it would be George. Like, I fully believe that. I would endorse it. I think it would be a great thing for him to do before he says the proverbial goodbye, as it were. But yeah, fandom it's crazy. I think Scream fandom's maybe a bit more high on the toxicity meter because the age group of fans that were brought in from 5 and 6 are vocal, I think, by and large, more vocal than they are smart, and a lot of performative stuff. A lot of like, I just need to be seen as like the person that's saying these things because it'll make my friend group think that I'm courageous or right or whatever. And we have a serious problem, I think, and what I'm going to say might piss people off or might be controversial. But I think we have a serious problem, particularly in our country, with people wanting to be the best white person in the room. You know, like, I'm not going to be myself. I'm just going to like say the things that I think should be the things that I could say to make people think that I'm like the best version of this that could be, instead of just being honest about whatever. So I think I see that within the toxic side of the Scream fandom as well. Like people raising their hand being like, I want to bear your cross. Can I please bear somebody's cross? Which is a thing, admittedly, that I think a lot of white people do. But I love people of all races, creeds, walks of life, whatever. Just be cool. And we're cool. We got Sean G dropping a $5 Canadian, says, what up, DD? Late as fuck. No worries, G. You can always scrub on back. It's been 2 hours, 40 minutes, so I am jumping out pretty quick. But thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I really do appreciate you. And holy cow, Jones Sclafani. Sclafani is, if that is your last name, that is an awesome last name. I love it. $10 super chat and a kick-ass Garbage Pail Kids icon there. I love it. Do you think Stu will be introduced in 8? Well, no, I don't think so. Stu was, technically introduced in the first movie, right? I think Stu's dead and gone. I would like the Stu conversation to be just as buried as Stu is. And I know that won't happen, and that's totally okay. But yeah, that's just my personal opinion, Joan, is he's gone, and he's been gone since the first movie. But that we're feeling his presence and his impact. And, an extension of that is the presence and impact of every previous Ghostface is still being felt. And I think that's a really powerful thing. It's kind of like a Spartacus thing. I am Spartacus. You know what I mean? It's like the movement is bigger than the person. And I think that's that's the right way to go with Stu. This isn't a Nightmare on Elm Street or Friday the 13th or Halloween where people just willy-nilly come back from the dead and there's huge retcons and big leaps of faith as far as like the logic and the lore goes, which is, I think, okay for those supernatural leaning slashers. But Scream is meant to be relatively grounded, not completely realistic in every single way, relatively grounded. Compared to, look at all the other slashers that are out there, Scream feels like real life more than any of them, right? So there you go. Thank you so much, Joan. I really appreciate that. $10 to close out the stream. That's amazing, guys. You all made it. The quality of the conversation and the amount of love that you guys are showing monetarily, you guys made this well worth losing my voice over chatting with you guys. So I'm all the way, there we go. David Deathray stabs me in the Stu loving chest a second time and went, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, and I'm guessing they just stole the papers, right? Stu is actually alive in spirit. Yep. That's what's up. And I think that's good enough. I think that's good enough for sure. All right, guys, I'm so sorry if you just joined us. I apologize that I seemingly am leaving right away. But it's been a long, oh my gosh, that wasn't an earthquake. That was just my knee hitting the desk. Totally unprofessional. We've been chatting for about 2 hours, 45 minutes. So if you've missed any of it, please feel free to scrub on back, check it out, drop down into the comments. Let me know your thoughts on anything or anything that you got. Yeah, let me know. If you're watching after the fact, thank you so much. That's incredible, especially if you made it this far. Make sure to hype the video. If you guys that are watching live want to jump back in right after the stream ends and throw a little hype your way so other people can discover the channel, that would be amazing. I just want to say before I leave, thank you so much to the Patreon members, the YouTube channel members. Guys, we're like almost 80 deep on YouTube channel members, which is incredible for a small channel like this. So thank you so much for your support. The Death Squad mods were great. Erica jumping in to just make sure that everything was cool and people weren't being creepy about personal information. And of course, Eli sharing some links and all that kind of good stuff. That's awesome as well. That's going to wrap it up for this stream. I'm going to go work on some other stuff on the side. Don't you worry. I will still be very active. And then tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern right? 2 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. UK. I'm going to be over on, wait, not 9 p.m. I'm getting it all confused. 7 p.m. UK, 2 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. UK. I'm going to be over there on Horror Her. And 8:30 Eastern, I'll be watching Evil Dead on Chills and Thrills. So sometimes I don't know how I do it, guys, but apparently there is plenty of Davey Deathray to go around. Thank you all so very much. I love you guys. Anything you got for me, jump into the comments. Let me know what you got. I hope to see you on the very next stream. To all the new people, welcome on in. This is the best community in all of YouTube. So you're in good company. You guys all rock my socks. Thank you for talking Scream with me. This is not going to be the last time we talk about this franchise or this movie. So get locked and loaded. Check it out a second or third time. Let's really dive in deep for the next one, which will actually be tomorrow. So everyone's got the assignment. Go watch Scream 7 tonight and jump back into Horror Stream tomorrow to have a chat with us. All right. That's going to wrap it up, guys. Thank you all so very much. Oh, and you know how we end this, right? This is how we do it every single time. Until next time, I've been and will continue being Davey Deathray. Take care.